Okay, we've got a long list of non-agenda public testimony speakers. I'm going to call your name, and you've got 1 minute. Is this more, Melissa? Okay. There are more. Okay, so we're going to get through as many as we can, but we might have to stop and move on with the agenda. And then people who are not called before we start the regular agenda can speak at the end of the meeting. So Francine Maxwell, Francisca Salcedo, Edward Reichart, Kimberly Carpenter, Karen Jarugi, thank you, Ashley Beyer, Caroline Desert, Claudia Huerta, Malik Bacon, Cindy Barros. Go ahead, Francine. Yeah.
Francine Maxwell. Progress is the attraction that moves humanity. Marcus Garvey. Cindy Martin started from an illegal closed session meeting with her red shoes. Now we want you to have an illegal closed session meeting and give her the boot. Cindy Martin has not been qualified to run this district. She continually tears up our district. She has nor the will nor the skill to progress District E. And it's time that you board trustees stop pussyfooting around and playing games and give Cindy Martin the boot. You hired her illegally in a closed session. You appointed her. Have another illegal closed session and ask for her resignation. We cannot tolerate this bad mismanagement of our funds. We are getting millions of dollars that are being wasted here at Normal Street with the creation of different departments, which are flavors of the month. Faces needs to go. Her area superintendents, they need to go. They cost us $1 million. They do nothing. We need leadership. Give her the boot. Give her the boot.
Hello, my name is Francisca Salcedo, and I'm here to really urge you to focus on educating our children, not on activism. I've lived in Logan Heights for 31 years. I'm a proud Latina, former English learner, former student at this district. I have 4 children. My youngest, who will be a kindergartner, is an English learner with special needs. So I fully want the community to be involved, but I think your job as superintendent, as board members, is to make sure that our children are educated. When I found out that there are preschool classrooms empty and that you're firing preschool teachers and bus drivers so that our children, especially children of color, poor children, are not going to be able to go to schools outside of their neighborhood, that really makes me mad and really makes me sad as a mom, as a community member. There will be no way for my son to receive a free and appropriate public education if you go through with firing all the support staff and with denying children a choice in education. Thank you.
If I called your name, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Caroline Desert, and I work for the San Diego LGBT Community Center. I am here on behalf of the center to express our deep support for the current board-approved and state-mandated curriculum for comprehensive sexual health education and to urge the board to continue this education. We support this curriculum because it is comprehensive, medically accurate, age-appropriate, unbiased, and is inclusive to our LGBT youth. Our LGBT youth deserve schools that are safe, and they deserve schools that give them the comprehensive information they need to make healthy choices now and in their bright futures. Research has long demonstrated that sexual health education that is comprehensive and inclusive prevents unplanned pregnancies, reduces rates of sexually transmitted infections, delays the onset of sexual activity, and instills healthy behaviors. We applaud this board for having had this curriculum vetted by a team of trusted experts, approved by a statewide coalition, its own committee team, and having it open to public comment. We are deeply grateful to the board and to Superintendent Martin for their continued leadership to empower all of San Diego's youth. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Claudia Huerta, and I'm here with my colleague Chrissy Smork, who serves on the district's Sexual Health Education Advisory Committee.
The
The advisory committee appreciates the thorough process that San Diego Unified School District used to review rights, respect, and responsibility curriculum, and the fact that the advisory committee was able to review it. I'm also the Education Outreach Program Manager with Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest. We are here today to present letters in support of the district's comprehensive, age-appropriate, inclusive, and medically accurate sexual health education. These letters are from the Center for Community Solutions, which is one of the largest organizations preventing sexual assault and domestic violence, the Academy of Health and Healthier Communities, San Ysidro Health Centers, the Center, the ACLU, GLSEN, the Center for Research for Sexuality and Sexual Health Education at San Diego State, and Planned Parenthood. We thank you for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead if I called your name. Yep.
My name is Malik Bacon, and I'm the ASB advisor at Lincoln High School, home of the Hornets. I come to you because I'm concerned. In the fall, when I begin my 9th year at Lincoln, I will begin that year with either my 6th or 7th principal, depending on how one counts. I can't make you understand how frustrating this is as a dedicated staff member, one who hopes to retire from the Hive. I was one of the teacher representatives on the hiring panel. All three of us wrongly assumed that the individuals we had interviewed had an equal shot to be our next principal. While we all agreed on one candidate who is currently a vice principal at our school, a district official told me that he should not have been on the panel in the first place. This bothers me because apparently we went through a process that was not transparent, that exposed hidden agendas, and is riddled with shenanigans. I essentially wasted more than a half a day, along with several colleagues, at the expense of the San Diego taxpayer to share an opinion which really wasn't wanted in the first place, though district employees really wanted to give the perception that the process was fair and transparent. I have two real questions. Is the vice presidential position a terminal position? And what sort of confidence are we to have in that gentleman today? I sincerely ask that you really reach out to the teachers because there's been a lot of damage done in this process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. We believe that each and every one of you...
Give us your name, please. I'm sorry.
Karen DiGioregi.
Karen, thank you.
We believe that each and every one of you joined the school board because you want to do what's best for children. And we believe that you believe that what you're doing is right in this instance with the sex ed curriculum, but we strongly disagree with you, and we represent the parents of this school district. We asked for an agenda item, a seat at the table, to have a real discussion about what medically accurate, age-appropriate, values-free sexual health education is, and we were denied, ignored, not even answered. We know that you're concerned about protecting and addressing the needs of the group of students, but we have to talk about the values of this curriculum and what it imparts on all children of this district. I've been to numerous middle schools. I've spoken to numerous parents at pickup time since I spoke last. Parents are shocked. Parents are appalled by this curriculum. The law states that parents have the ultimate responsibility for imparting values to their children, not the schools. And we represent culturally diverse families with shared community values. We are not going away until you agree to meet with us and discuss a truly medically accurate, age-appropriate, values-free sexual education curriculum for all of the students of San Diego Unified School District. Thank you.
Before I speak, I would just like to say that if there are any kids who are here who can hear what I'm saying, I'd like to ask that they be, moved away. So if you can hear me and you're a parent and you have a kid here today, please remove them. Okay, who's doing the timer?
It's already on, so go ahead.
That was my full minute, so I didn't get to...
Go ahead, speak.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ashley Beaver. I'm a parent, and I'm also a teacher. I happen to be an employee of San Diego Unified, though I'm not sure for how much longer. I'm going to quote Dave Chappelle when he says, sometimes we need to say that things are good and things are bad and stop focusing on better or worse. This curriculum is bad because it doesn't respect the adolescent brain. It introduces sexual terms and concepts that many of them really aren't ready to handle. Go ahead and Google them all, like I did yesterday, and see what you see. Some of those terms, they may not be familiar with. It's not the district's job to start the sexual journey of all of our children. It's the district's job as public servants to meet the needs of all of our kids and have shared community values.
Okay, thank you.
I need another minute.
No, you cannot have another minute.
Government Code 35145.5. It is the intent of the legislature that members of the public be able to place matters directly related to school district business on the agenda of school district governing board meetings. Given the fact that our group has repeatedly landed on pornographic websites, some of them too graphic to put up here because there are children in the audience, should be of grave concern. You should have responded to our request to be put on the agenda item. It is offensive. Do you want our kids looking at pornography at school? We're hearing at Lewis they're going to remove the school filters on the laptops so they can access this curriculum, which normally wouldn't pass the filters. Again, I'm going to repeat it. Shame on you. And why won't you respond to us and these parents who are absolutely mystified that you're promoting pornography? Part of this content in this curriculum says porn is okay. Is porn okay for your children?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
My name is Cindy Burrows. I'm the president of Lincoln High PTO. We're here to talk about the equity of Lincoln High School as well as the principal selection. Normal policy and protocol for the district is to have a community panel and a principal be sent forward to Superintendent Cindy Martin for selection. The last time we did that, she decided not to select the individual. So why would we think anything will be different? We sent an individual towards you, Ms. Martin, to be selected, and you subsequently said no, you would not send him. You sent him through hoops and hurdles and all kind of things to justify why he wasn't there. To say that he is not a qualified candidate is a falsity. To deny a veteran of the services of San Diego is a tragedy. To deny a minority male another appointment in a position is a tragedy. We can't keep going through these tragedies. We need leadership at Lincoln High School immediately. This is a definite plot, I believe it in my heart, to shut down Lincoln High School. And it doesn't make any sense that anyone on this diocese would allow that to happen. It's a public school, and all of our kids are entitled to a public education. Select the vice principal we sent forward, and we'll go home. Thank you.
I'm here to state that we need to fire Cindy Martin. The decisions based on the budget are horrible. She hasn't even had a permanent finance director to look at the money. The SERP is going to cost us millions and millions of dollars. Decisions that she's made about appointing a principal at Lincoln High School, another travesty. Her leadership is lacking. You can't make an elementary school principal into a CEO as much as she thinks she may be. Lots of issues, and she's not handling it. It's like she's trying to put out fires all the time. Fire Cindy Martin.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Carpenter, and I'm an employee of San Diego Unified School District down at Bell Middle School. And I wanted to talk today not about teachers, but about other staffing. We need to understand the difference between equality of input and equality of output, is that we decide as a district that every X number of kids gets so many teachers, so many guidance counselors, so many school psychologists. And in doing that, we lose equality of output, which seems to me in the long run where we really want to head. Is that if we want to have equality in results, then we need to look at the circumstances of the children receiving services. When I look at the children at my school down at Bell, and a lot of other schools, I look at children who are living in near constant trauma. I have children who are homeless. I have a child whose family has essentially thrown him away and moved to Philadelphia. Mom's decided she doesn't want him anymore. We need more counselors and more psychologists for our population than we're getting.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, Toby Pace, Derby Pattengill, Mary Baker, Christopher Wyrick, Roger Ogden, Nora Vargas, Carrie Rudolph, Luciano Robinal, Christina Howarth, Anna Bonatati.
What was the first name you called?
Toby Pace.
They're coming right now.
Okay.
If your name was called, you don't have to go that way.
Toby Pace, yeah.
Okay.
Do both of them work?
Hello. Okay, it works.
You can do it. You're doing great. Everybody up, go. Go, start.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Martin. My name is Samantha Hazard, and I am in second grade at Hickman Elementary School. Me and my friends have some exciting news. We are a Leader in Me school, and we have a special leadership day coming up. What is a Leader in Me school, you might ask? Skylar, can you help us out?
Well, we are an inspiration to others to learn and follow the 7 habits of happy kids. At Hickman, we're all leaders. From TK to 5th grade, including our teachers, office staff, lunch servers, and custodians. We all value the unique leadership quality in all of us. Sky and we do. Can you tell us what the 7 habits are? Sure. The first habit is be proactive. I'm in charge of me.
The second habit is begin with the end in mind. I have a plan.
The third habit is put first things first. Work first, then play.
Yes.
The fourth habit is think win-win. Everyone can win.
The 5th habit is seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Go
Listen
ahead.
before you talk.
The 6th habit is synergize. Together is better.
The 7th habit is sharpen the saw. Balance feels best.
We would really like you to come to our school and learn with us. Our mission statement is live, learn, lead together. Each of us at Hickman believes that we are lifelong learners, and we would love to share that learning with you.
Here are some extra special highlights that make Hickman unique. We have classroom leadership activities on the 7 habits. We created class mission statements and personal mission statements. We held a Saturday Beautification Day to create great learning environment.
Thank you for your time this evening. Please come to Hickman Elementary on 9/2 at 9 a.m. Thank you.
All right.
Good evening, Mary Baker with Citizens for Quality Education. I'm here again to urgently request that the district rescind the discriminatory anti-bullying policy specifically crafted for Muslim students. This policy disproportionately serves Muslim students and casts aside other students who face severe bullying in equal or greater measure because of their religion, gender, disability, or sexual preference. Both the FBI and DOJ studies continue to report year after year that Jews are by far the biggest targets of religious hate crimes in the United States. This policy favors one religion, Islam, over all others. It is not the role of a government entity, such as a public school, to promote religion. It violates the First Amendment's Establishment Clause, which prohibits unduly favoring one religion over another. In fact, collaboration with CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, raises questions of impermissible, excessive government entanglement with religion. And for these reasons, I ask you that you rescind the policy.
Thank you.
What's up, guys? I'm here to finish what I had to say last time. My name's Christopher Wyrick. The students deserve a good education that we as citizens pay for. You as board members are supposed to make these decisions based on your constituents' input. Ultimately, you have decided that funding an irrelevant and absurd policy based on religious belief is more important than retaining teachers and school programs that could be the key to the future Beethoven, Mozart, Einstein, or even Stephen Hawking. Tons of missed opportunities into retaining quality teachers due to misappropriated fundings. Your priorities are way off base, and you should be ashamed of yourself for putting yourself and politics before the children. Kids don't care what, who, or when, or why. They just want to play and learn occasionally. Their minds are like blank pages, and your decision is to write their own ideological book for them. That's the parents' job to teach them those things, not the public school system. I am calling on this board to immediately remove this literature from all San Diego schools as is an obvious violation of practicing any religious beliefs in public schools. Immediately disavow and remove any work with care from any and all public school curriculum. We also need an immediate review of any funding to a program that are in direct violation of federal law that prevents a bias towards certain religions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Refocus the taxpayers' dollars to things that will help the children succeed when they grow up. Give them pride in themselves, their community, and quit trying to make everyone a victim of society.
Okay,
we don't need
thank you, Mr.
Islamophobia taught in our schools. We need education and free will to guide us. We're wasting our money, our time, and our minds of the youth. This is a ridiculous plan.
Thank you. If you're going to teach Islam in the schools, I just want to make sure that you teach the true Islam.
Can we just have your name, please? I'm sorry.
Roger Ogden.
Thank you.
And not a falsified Islam that has been approved by CARE. And Muslims teach that Muhammad is the perfect moral example for Muslims to follow, like Christians follow Christ and Buddhists follow Buddha. But the problem is that Muhammad was not a moral person. He beheaded hundreds of people because they did not accept Islam. He waged aggressive war against non-Muslims. He used terror tactics against non-Muslims. He raided caravans to pay for his wars. He engaged in sex slavery. He married a woman after he had beheaded her husband. And he had sex with children. He married a 6-year-old girl and has sex with her when she's 9. And this is in the Muslim literature. And these board members are the bullies.
Okay, thank you.
And I think you should go educate yourself what real Islam is about.
Thanks very much. Okay, if I called your name, please step forward.
Hi, my name is Christy. I could spend all day talking about how CARE has proven ties to Hamas, but since I know those facts don't concern the district, and because I know everyone here is going to brush me off as some right-wing Islamophobe, I'll spend the few minutes I have talking about something that everyone should be concerned about: the separation of church and state in the public school system. According to CARE's website, its mission is to enhance the understanding of Islam. If I wanted to enhance my children's understanding of Islam, I would bring them to a mosque. If I wanted to enhance my children's understanding of the Bible, I'd take them to Christian school. I send them to public school. I want them to learn reading, writing, arithmetic in an environment free from religion entirely. And the fact that parents are concerned and that school board isn't concerned, that's ridiculous, because the school talks about tolerance and understanding, and then they tweet snarky, intolerant statements like, quote, "Unfortunate to see some people feeling so threatened and angered by our curriculum without knowing what's actually in it. No place for hate, hashtag." But if the district is going to publicly criticize concerned parents for not knowing the curriculum, perhaps the district needs to be more transparent.
Thank you very much.
But transparency isn't something the district has lacked for it's something they've lacked for quite some time.
We're going to have to ask you to step aside, please, so other people can speak. Thank you.
Well, this is basically opening up the door for indoctrination of our children. This is public school, and religion should not be in this.
Thank you.
CARE has actually been on record.
Thank you.
CARE has been on record saying, fighting plans just like this, saying separation of church and state is unconstitutional. So why can't we? It's the same legal argument.
Let the next person speak. Thank you.
You all know I'm right.
evening. Derby Pattengill from the San Diego Unified Council of PTAs. I'm a parliamentarian. I have 2 kids in San Diego schools. The Executive Board of San Diego Unified Council of PTAs support the school board trustees and the superintendent in implementing the new sexual health curriculum. We believe the curriculum to be medically accurate, comprehensive, and developmentally appropriate education for K through 12th grade students. We believe this is a curriculum that reflects the national sexuality education standards and abides by the California Ed Codes. This curriculum covers sexuality as a normal, healthy aspect of human development, healthy relationships and healthy decision-making, body image and self-esteem, gender, sexual orientation, and sexual identity, the benefits of delaying sexual activity, risk behaviors and prevention methods for unintended pregnancies, STIs, and HIV, strategies for preventing, recognizing, and addressing bullying and sexual violence, the use of technology and social media in intimate relationships. We appreciate your hard work, and we look forward to working with you to help bring parents together on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Derby.
Hello, my name is Carrie Rudolph, and I'm a former student that graduated from Morse High School in your district. I'm here to show my support for the comprehensive sex ed curriculum that is being taught. I know when I attended, it wasn't implemented. We did have the HIV preventive program, but then again, it wasn't comprehensive sex ed, which teaches more about, consent, teen dating violence and such, along with all the other information that's medically accurate and such. I've had the privilege. I know what curriculum is being taught. You can find this online, and it is age appropriate. I don't understand what the issue is. I asked my mother what her thoughts on the sex ed curriculum is and if it was removed, and my mother's all like, no, I would much prefer you being taught by a specialist, someone who knows this information, and not by herself. So I also have here with me a petition that has over 100 signatures from parents that showed their support, and I'd like to submit it, and that is all.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Luciano Rabanal. I'm a class of 2010 graduate of Mira Mesa High School. I received my first sex education class in a Presbyterian private school in 6th grade, and I don't recall the sort of sex education that I received in the San Diego Unified School District, but I am greatly appreciative of the 6th grade education that I had, and I am very much aware that kids growing into their adolescence need to be respected, and their rights to understand things that they're going to be involved in moving forward by your very own mission statement in order to lead and participate in the society tomorrow. I personally believe they should not be afraid or ashamed of talking about the activities that they will be partaking in as adults. And that's what I believe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anna Bonatati. It's been a year now since the IC has changed its program model. I've given you some document from the book that we've been given in the IC and ELD teachers have been given, Connecting Content and Language for English Learners, which was written by one of the PD presenters that Ola was speaking of, Dr. Mora Flores. And if you look at it, you will see that the amount of time required to learn a language, as stated by the professional development person that was, giving this PD, is pretty much what they say in all of the documentation. However, what the district is doing is they're pushing kids through these classes within 1 year, a year and a half, because of wanting them to acquire the credits for high school. What I would like to request is that you direct Ola to present data that is quantitative, reliable, and unmanipulated.
Okay, thank you.
And soon.
Okay, we're going to allow 10 more minutes at this point of non-agenda public testimony, and then we'll take up the rest after the conclusion of the regular meeting. Mariam Ali, Fatwa Ahmed, Kafisa Mohammed, Fadumo Farah, Hamda Haji, Dan Yangmanga, Lorraine Burley, Kimberly De Bersunza, Kimberly Coons, and Kevin Banks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marian Ali. I'm a parent of Grover High School and Man Middle School and Marshall Elementary School. There is no hate. We want our children to learn. Read, write, speak. We didn't send them to be a bully and somebody pulling them hijab and asking their religion. We traumatize and run away from our homeland with war and all the things you can even imagine. We don't want another war. We are here for peace. We want our children to learn like every other child have to learn. We are not here for separation. They don't know anything about even the and Islamic Sharia. If you ask them, they don't even know. They're here to learn. They're here to play with everybody else. Our children, they've been traumatized. We don't want another trauma. We are here for peace. We are thankful what we have. Continuous and be a good leadership. Please stop this hate that somebody created that is not going to work. Thank you.
Go ahead. If I called your name, please come and speak.
I need translation.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Lorraine Burley. Excuse me, folks. My information's on file. I'm here today as a voice of Scripps Ranch and all San Diego taxpayers. I'm not going to be talking about sex or race, but I'm going to be talking about money. Governor Brown issued the following warning to all California school districts during this. Yes, I was, dear.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
During the budget press conference, he said, cuts are coming over the next few years, and they will be big. The SERP deal and the teacher retirement packages are not enough of a financial remedy for the current budget deficit. I ask you, why are you spending $750,000 to an environmental service company in an attempt to redevelop the Scripps Mesa site, a redevelopment with unknown costs and revenue benefits? How many district jobs would this money pay for? The board needs to stop mismanaging our public money. You are not a private company. You are operating for the benefit of the public and taxpayers. One more thing. Dysfunction, financial mismanagement, and loss of constructive public relationships is not serving the public.
Okay.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum. waad ku mahadsantihiin. Hawshaad bilowdeen waa ku mahadsantihiin.
She's very happy about the work you guys started doing with the anti-Islamic film.
Could you speak into the microphone?
Oh,
I'm sorry, yeah.
She's very thankful about the work that you guys are doing with the current Islamic, the anti-bullying agenda.
Thank you.
waxaa ardaydeena oo refujiga ah iyo kuwa muslimka ah ayaa iskuulada noo dhigta waa la bully gareeyaa.
She said, as knowing that we have refugee immigrant students there that are being constantly bullying, we're very happy that you guys started this.
waxaan rabnaa inaan nagu taageertiin oo ilaalisaan sida sharciga uu dhigayo caruurta cunug kasta oo iskuul dhigta inuu safety ku dhigto.
She says, and she wants you guys to uphold by the school standards and the laws put in place that every student is safe when they're at school.
waxaa lagu bully gareeyaa xijaabkooda ama kalarkooda.
She said, and we know that kids get bullied by the color of their skin or even the Somali or Muslim women who wear hijabs.
So Muslim or non-Muslim waxaan rabnaa inay safe iskuulkooda dhigtaan.
She's a Muslim or non-Muslim. We want all students to be safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Adan Nyamagam, the Crawford Community Connection at Crawford High School. I'm here to ask standing solidarity with the district for your steadfast leadership in making sure that our schools are safe for every kid, no matter your background, no matter who you worship, how you worship, the color of your skin, what you wear. They are just there to learn. And if what we have seen, we have people coming here and standing and saying that there's things that we have had people say. What do you think they're telling their kids at home? They're the same kids that are going to the same schools that our kids go to. What do they tell them to go do to our kids? So as a district and learning institution, you should take leadership on that. And we are, as parents, we are totally fearful of the lives of our children's safety, because of who they worship. People will come here, claim to be parents, the same schools that we send our kids to. and then what do their kids watching them? What do their kids do? They go to school, and the same people pull the hijabs off our kids. The same people kick our kids when they're praying. The same people who our kids do share schools with.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. She gave me the minute because she have a sore throat, so I'm gonna speak up.
We don't give time, but if you want to translate, please. You go ahead and translate, please. Yeah.
I try to speak,
Yes.
but I don't have enough English to talk. Then I say, Americans is Americans. We need safe one nation and help each other. We don't need hate each other. We need help each other.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else whose name I called? Yep, go ahead.
Good evening, Kimberly de Versunza. In 2006, my master's research proved that successful language immersion programs depended primarily on supportive communities. Attitude is everything. As a parent at Language Academy and veteran language immersion teacher, I can attest to the success of these schools and the supportive parent communities behind them. I have been at Language Academy as a parent for 11 years. It has been one of the district's great success stories due to the supportive families and stable staffing. Now it has become a victim of that success, over-enrolled by about 150 students. It has come to light that the district has a plan to solve its overcrowding by moving the successful middle school across town to Claremont. This plan makes no sense. There are better solutions. Our school community must be involved in finding them. I request that you put a hold on this plan, allowing the stakeholders the time we need to find better solutions for our own successful programs. The program is successful because of its families and its teachers. Please don't destroy it by tearing us apart.
Good evening. My name is Madonna White. Ms. Coons couldn't be here to speak, so I'm going to speak. I am a parent of 2 thriving students that attend Lincoln High. Lincoln High is a quality school, but for some reason, the district seems to think otherwise. I've met with you, Mr. Barrera, and you, Ms. Martin, along with Bruce Bivens, but it seems as though what we are asking is not good enough for you. So we have a thriving vice principal that has been there for 5 years already, but for whatever reason, you state that he is not good enough to be the principal. I ask you why. Why have you not given us that answer? I'm sure this would not happen north of the 805. We have thriving students, thriving schools in the Lincoln cluster. Treat us with the same respect that you offer to the schools north of the 805.
Thank you. Okay, that will conclude this portion of non-agenda public testimony. Thank you for your comments and taking time to address the board and the superintendent today. We appreciate your input, and please know that your perspectives help us to better serve our students, parents, and the community. I would like to welcome everyone present today and those watching the broadcast and call the May 16th, 2017 regular meeting to order with all board members present. And to present the colors, we've got the Navy JROTC Color Guard from Patrick Henry High School. Please stand for the colors. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. All right, thank you, Patrick Henry, JROTC. If you wish to address the board on any of the agenda items before the board today and your name is not on the speaker list printed on blue paper located at both entrances to the auditorium, and if you've not already submitted a request for public testimony form, please complete the form and submit it to Ms. Ward. Speakers on agenda items will be called on to speak during the discussion of the agenda item. Once discussion begins on an item, no additional public speaker requests will be accepted. Our bylaws provide that public testimony on agenda items is limited to a maximum of 20 minutes per consent and/or action item, allowing for a maximum of 10 minutes per opposing viewpoint. Public testimony speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker, and depending upon the total number of speaker requests received on an item, the time may be reduced to 2 or 1 minute each. The time limit for speakers on today's agenda items will be announced at each item. And now for our student presentation tonight from Sessions Elementary School, Dr. McQuarrie, could you introduce?
Sure, it is a thrill for me to be introduced Principal Margaret Joseph, IB Coordinator Jeff Corley, and Counselor Darlene Kanzler to present our Kate Sessions student program for this evening. Thank you.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Margaret Joseph. I'm the principal at Kate Sessions. I'm so pleased that we have some students here to share with you what it means to be IB. And I'm going to let them take it over from now. I just want to tell you, excuse my voice, I have two fabulous people with me. I have my IB coordinator, Jeff Corley, and our fabulous counselor, Darlene Kanzler. Without them, we can't do anything at our schools, but thank you so much. You ready, guys? Okay.
Hello, thank you for inviting us. I'm Declan.
And I'm Nika. We're fifth graders at Kate Sessions International Baccalaureate School in Pacific Beach, which is part of the Mission Bay cluster. Mission Bay High School and and Pacific Beach Middle School are also IB schools.
We're here tonight to tell you a little bit about the IB program. A big part of that in elementary school is learning how to be a better student and world citizen by following the IB attitudes and profiles.
Yes, they include such traits as being independence, having cooperation, being risk takers, having integrity, empathy, and respect.
When students at elementary school learn the profiles, they learn skills that allow us to better ask questions and to better find answers. These skills include research skills, communication skills, thinking skills, self-management skills, and social skills.
Also, IB students learn to take action within their community. For example, 2 of the 5th graders with us today wrote a letter to their congressman.
Allow me to introduce Tristan, Nathan, and David, who are currently 5th graders at our school.
And from 4th grade, we have Jade, Ashlyn, and Hannah.
First to talk about our school's new Peace Patrol is Jade, Ashlyn, Hannah, and Nathan. Hello, I'm Ashlyn. We're some of the students on the Peace Patrol from Kate Sessions Elementary School. We're here to talk to you about what we do and what it is, why we started the Peace Patrol and what it is that we do.
Hi, I am Hannah. Part of the reason we started the Peace Patrol is because we wanted to help our kindergarten students learn the playground rules and how to cooperate and be caring with one another.
Hi, I'm Jade. Learning about the IB attitudes is an important part of the IB program. We wanted to help the kindergartners learn about having the integrity to make the right choices whether someone's looking or not.
Hi, I'm Nathan, and the first thing we did was to make a plan with our school counselor, Mrs. Kanzler. She organized us to be able to go to PB Middle School, PB Elementary, and see their Peace Patrol. And we put together application forms and inviting kids to join us.
We volunteer at recess to help kids learn that having tolerance for differences will help everybody have fun at recess.
During Peace Patrol, we go to kinder playground on Tuesdays and Thursdays to make sure the kids are following directions. We also take the kids to the nurse if they get hurt. We have stations around the kinder playground, such as the swings and the sandbox. We make sure the kids are following the rules, such as going one at a time on the monkey bars.
Once we set up a patrol system, others are able to join.
We also have 10 other 4th graders helping out. We thought it was a good idea to have a Peace Patrol because we wanted the kindergartners at our school to be able to use the IB attitudes and profiles every single day.
Taking action is a big part of the IB program. When Tristan and David became concerned about an environmental issue, they decided to take action.
Hi, my name is David, and this is my friend.
I'm Tristan. We're both 5th graders at Kate Sessions.
Students graduating from the elementary IB program take part in an exhibition that showcases our learning as IB students. Our topic was about how air pollution affects children around the world. In researching air pollution, we became better aware on how the Environmental Protection Agency helps regulate air pollution.
We learned about budget cuts to the EPA and how it'll minimize the work that the EPA is able to do to help our environment and the health of many Americans. For example, 250,000 lives are saved each year because of the EPA's Clean Air Act. Also, 2.4 million asthma attacks are prevented every year because of the EPA's rules and California waivers.
As children, we are concerned about our one and only planet Earth. We feel that the EPA is helping us breathe healthier by trying to minimize unhealthy air. So we wrote a letter to the Congressman Scott Peters about our concerns about the environment and budget cuts to the EPA.
In that letter, we expressed our concerns about budget cuts to the EPA and regulations being revoked that help protect Californians. We hoped our congressman would become aware of our views and would support them in helping prevent air pollution from becoming too dangerous. Even if you do not attend an IB school, that doesn't prevent you from being a good world citizen.
Thank you for inviting us. That concludes our presentation. Any questions?
Right on. Well done. Thank you.
Tell them about the letter. You did get a response. Hold on.
Right.
You're on.
After we wrote the letter, 2 months later, we got a response from Scott Peters, and here's the letter. So if you guys want to look at it, we can hand it up
please.
if you want.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely want to take a look at your letter. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting us.
Sure. Well, I'd like to add a little bit to what wasn't said. IB stands for International Baccalaureate. That means this program, this school is a school which pursues standards that are higher than our local, our state, and national standards. They are based on international standards. And just like our high schools have a WASC accreditation, our IB schools get visited, and they must prove by work and by example that they are meeting these high international standards. This school feeds into PB Middle School. They go on to high school. It's one of the few schools around that are elementary, middle school, and high school. It's a cluster of schools that are IB, International Baccalaureate. The other cluster that does that is San Diego. So we're very, very pleased with the program, excited about the work you're doing, and the presentation that your students gave today, where it's outstanding.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. Thank you, everybody.
Could we get the Peace Patrol as a regular entity here at our meetings? I think that could come in handy. Walk around the auditorium. Okay, well, that was fantastic and very timely, I might add. Okay, can we get a motion to adopt today's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Please vote. Okay, does any board member wish to remove any item from the consent agenda? If not, can we get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? If not, please vote. Okay, Ms. Donovan, do we have any reportable actions from closed session?
We do not.
Okay. And Superintendent Martin, we've got some administrative assignments tonight.
Thank you, President Barrera. We have Program Manager for Educational Technology, Julie Garcia, Principal at Alba, Andrea Vinson, Principal for Loma Portal Elementary, Mark Morici, Principal for Sessions Elementary, Adam Carlin, Principal for Hoover High School, Jason Babineau, Principal for Sarah High School, Erica Renfrey, and I would like to also announce tonight our Chief of Police Services, Mike Marquez, and I would like to swear Chief Marquez into office if he could please come forward if he's here. I think he is. There he is. As he's coming forward, I'd like to read his bio. Mr. Marquez is an experienced law enforcement professional with 27 years of experience. His career includes service with the Municipal Police Department, where among the very tasks he performed, he spent 3 years as a school resource officer. Since 2001, Mr. Marquez has been a police officer with the San Diego Unified School District and has steadily progressed from campus police officer, sergeant, and captain to current interim chief for school police, thus holding greater leadership responsibilities in our organization. As our interim chief for police services over the past 4 months, Mr. Marquez has shown that he is an experienced leader. He has worked closely with the National Conflict Resolution Center, making our school police department a leader in restorative justice in our region. Mr. Marquez's successful career displays his unique mix of technical skills, interest, and care for serving our students and his leadership ability. Mr. Marquez holds multiple certifications from the California Commission on Peace Officers Standards and Training. The Commission is recognized as a high benchmark for law enforcement professionals. While with our school district, Mr. Marquez has fostered many relationships and has created strong connections between school police and school communities, students, families, and of course our broader community, always holding the best interests of our students first and foremost. And now I'd like to have the honor to swear you into office. I, Michael Marquez,
I, Michael Marquez,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United
that I
States
will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about.
On behalf of the Board of Education, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Chief. Thank you, Superintendent Martin and Chief Marquez. At this time, I'd like the ASB student representatives to the board to introduce themselves. Please tell us about yourself and what's going on at your school, both academically and socially. And we'll start with Bianca Benford from Lincoln High School.
Hello again, my name is Bianca Benford, and I am the ASB of Lincoln High School, and I would like to present to you a few activities that our ASB has done at Lincoln High School. In the month of October, we had our homecoming, and so what we did was we had pep rallies, we had the Spirit Week, and also we had our homecoming dance. In November, we had the Lincoln High campaign, which is called I Am Lincoln, where we went out to Knox and Millennial Tech to present to them why they should come to Lincoln High School and how great our high school is. In the month of December, we had our holiday posters where we gave to each staff member to let them know that we love them and that we are here for them. In the month of January, we did personal thank you notes to our staff to let them know that we truly appreciate them and the work that they have done to our school. In the month of February, we had the Laurels for Leader ceremony where I was presented with a scholarship of $250. In the month of March, our girls basketball team and soccer team won CIF for 2017. And our boys basketball team got second place, but they still did a great job overall. In the month of April, we had a CUS San Marcos trip where we saw Jane Elliott and she presented her wonderful presentation. In the month of May, we are having our upcoming Foodie Fest, which is this Friday, May 19th. And also on Wednesday, May 24th, we are having our Lincoln High School 10th anniversary ceremony, one for 2:30 for the staff and students and one at 5:30 for our community. And also we have 27 students who got a full 4-year full ride scholarship to UCSD. Have had over 200 acceptances to different schools within the U.S., and we have received over $8 million in scholarships. But there's one missing piece to our school, which is a principal. We have experienced so much frustration because we would like our vice principal, Mr. Soto, to be our head principal. Mr. Soto has did an amazing job with our students, including myself. Mr. Soto has done everything for our school. Even when we went through ups and downs with our school, he was still there for us. He never backed down, he never quit. And I believe that Mr. Soto should be our principal. I feel like he's qualified. He did everything for the students, and I still don't understand why they haven't chosen him. So I want to leave a question with you all. Do our opinions matter to you when picking a principal that is the perfect fit for our school? Thank you.
Bianca, have you made a decision where you're going to go to school next year?
I will be attending UCSD.
All right, congratulations. And our ASB president at Kearney High School, Taryn Doherty. Go ahead, Taryn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Taryn Doherty. As he said, I am the ASB president here at Kearney High School. And if you don't know, Kearney High School is separated into 4 small schools, and I have the privilege of going to the small school Digital Media and Design, where we focus on digital media skills. What we have done this past year is we have focused on our 75th year anniversary of being Kearney High School, and so we have really tried to show the 75 years of excellence that Kearney has established in each and every one of their students. We have also academic achievements, as well as we partner with our neighboring community college, Mesa College, and we allow a program called Fast Track, where juniors and seniors are able to take up to 2 college classes as a regular course, and they are enrolled in as a college student. And for our seniors, they have the opportunity to early graduate. So starting second semester, most of our seniors are off being a full-time student at community college. And another one of our big events that we have had this year was the opening of our gender-neutral bathroom at Kearney campus. And our GSA is really proud of that we created a space for people to feel comfortable and allowing them to express themselves and be who they are. So thank you all.
And Taryn, have you made a decision about next year?
I'm going to be continuing on to community college and then transferring to UCLA.
Great job. Good job, Taryn. Thank you. Okay, does any board member have an information report? Dr. Whitehurst-Payne?
just would like to commend the ASB president here. She's doing a great job and speaking well on behalf of her school. And recently, on a Sunday morning, they had an event for athletes, giving them EKG tests and so forth. I believe it was called the Eric Foundation, where they brought in medical people to give them tests, medical exams, and then did EKGs as necessary. That was the first time they had done that, and it was a wonderful event. The cluster meetings are going forth, met with the Morse cluster as well as with the Lincoln cluster. The other cluster, Crawford, is going forth with continuing with its activities related to LCAT and so forth. And I just want to acknowledge also that the Rotary Club has selected 4 students from Lincoln High School again this year to go to Europe. So we're excited about that, and I just want to thank the community for all of their support for all of our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, President Barrera. Just a couple things real quick. First of all, I was really happy to be able to attend a town hall meeting with parents and teachers at the Language Academy. And the Language Academy is a French and Spanish immersion K-8 school located in the college area. That school has been having some phenomenal success to the extent that there's a lot of parents that want to have their children enrolled there. And so the district is having a couple of town hall meetings to kind of talk about the capacity challenge there and what are some ways of meeting the demand that parents have. And most of that demand is for Spanish immersion. I believe there were over 350 children that were turned away last year that would like to be enrolled in a Spanish immersion program. And so, there's been a lot of talk about dividing the school up and having the middle school kids finish the program on the other side of the city up in Claremont. But then there's a lot of people at the Language Academy that would really like to keep the K-8 program intact and think that maybe other ideas or solutions should be seriously vetted by staff and the district before we do something like that. One of the specific suggestions is to just offer a few more schools that may have a dual Spanish immersion program. And the difference between a Spanish immersion and dual Spanish immersion is that if a parent wants their child to go to school in an English classroom, they can do that. But if a parent wants their child to go to school in a Spanish immersion and learn English and Spanish at the same time, then they have that choice. Kind of like what we have at Gage Elementary School, which is phenomenally successful. The second thing is I've had a couple of parent meetings with parents at Bernie Elementary School, and for those of you that don't know, tonight is the town hall meeting at Bernie about the challenge with the water, making sure that we make the water safe there. And one of the concerns I'm hearing from parents is that they really would like the school district to test the children for lead. And I would hope that we would look at that as an option, partnering with the San Diego County Department of Health or something like that to provide that service. And finally, I just want to make sure that everybody understands, have had lots of meeting with parents on the home period, that seniors in high school in good standing can fill out a form and have a home period if they have a work permit, if they have an active internship, or if they're volunteering for a community group. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dr. McQuarrie, do you have a report?
Yeah, I attended 3 types of events, celebrations, fundraisers, and family and community engagement. After celebrating the Day of the Teacher at Patrick Henry, and thank you for hosting that, I did attend a Teacher of the Year event with the La Jolla Golden Triangle Rotary Club, and we acknowledged teachers from 2 different schools. One of those schools was Preuss Academy, which is ranked number 5 in the nation as an outstanding school. Other schools in our district, we have 16 major high schools. 13 of those 16 were ranked by U.S. News and World Report as being outstanding schools in California and the nation. I also went to some fundraisers. One was at the Crown Point Junior Music Academy, where they had their spring concert celebrating music, raising funding for their program. And at the Point Loma High School, they held a fundraiser for their high school band. It's their Rhapsody in Blue, and if you've never never attended that, I absolutely encourage you to do that. It's an annual event. In terms of family and community engagements, I was at Kearney High School to help them talk about what they're going to do with their new engineering building. In addition, I attended the Language Academy Town Hall with Trustee Kevin Beiser, had a chance to hear some of the issues and concerns there. And then I went to the Lincoln High School LCAP session with Trustee Sharon Whitehurst Payne to get a sense about the LCAP and how we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Devin.
I just was going to bring up one topic. I met with a mother who's a physician and some other parents who were concerned about the early start times in high school related to the health of children. And we've seen a lot of information come out recently. The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and now actually the Centers for Disease Control is saying it's really dangerous for students to be, and not beneficial at the very least, for students to be starting secondary school before 8:30 in the morning. There's a lot of things that happen with sleep deprivation, ranging from obvious things in terms of attendance and tardiness, but also related to school achievement, mental health issues, driving accidents, sports injuries, a lot of things that are related to having several years of deprived sleep. Sometimes people say, well, they should just go to bed earlier because they're going to get up early in the morning, but there's also medical evidence that the circadian rhythm of adolescents is different and that it's not reasonable for them to fall asleep before about 11 at night. So when they're starting school at 7:30 in the morning, and particularly for the students who are bused, they're getting up very early and losing out on a lot of sleep. And so it's a very complicated situation, but there's actually a state senator who has placed a bill before the legislature requiring schools to not start before 8:30 in the morning. So it's something we need to begin speaking about, and maybe I'll just on the spot ask if either of the two student representatives have your own personal comments about that. I know actually there is Kearney High School is the one exception in the district. What time do you start?
We start school at 8:45 a.m.
Right.
And then we are released at 3:30 p.m.
Okay. And do you think that works better than 7:30?
I do like the 8:45 start, but getting out late, especially with sports, you get out around 6:30 p.m. and then being bused home, you miss your practices, like half your practices, because the late bus only leaves or the last bus leaves at 5:30.
Okay, so there's a bus issue there. And do you have any comments from Lincoln?
Well, Lincoln starts at 7:25, which is a struggle, and I think we should start later. I think we should start at least 7:45, what would be better, because when we start at 7:25, most of the students are late and they get penalized for it, but we can't help it. Like 7:25 is really early. So
do you ever have students, do you ever see students fall asleep in class?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's move on to item E2. This is our public hearing on the 2017-18 Annual Service and Budget Plan for the Local Plan for Special Education. First, can we get a motion on item E2?
So moved.
And a second? Do we have a second? I will. Oh.
Kevin seconded, but Kevin already did.
Kevin seconded, I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I seconded.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Superintendent Martin, please present the item.
Thank you, President Barrera. I have our Executive Director of Special Education, Deanne Ragsdale. This is an annual service plan and the hearing for the local plan for special education, and she's here to present the item.
The annual service plan for the special education local plan area is presented every year. It has three parts. It has the agency assurances, the fiscal oversight, which governs the costs and has particular parameters about income that's received to the SELPA and how it will be expended as projected at this point in the year. And then it has the services and how we expect to provide them through the SELPA to children of all ages through all of the schools that we serve, including non-public schools and schools in the district. So it's a required plan of the SELPA that has to be submitted to California Department of Education every school year by June 30th for the upcoming school year.
And this is the required public hearing for that plan.
Correct.
That's an annual event.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering if you could point out that with some of the budget adjustments and so forth we're making in terms of, does this plan mean that all the students are going to meet the legal requirements of the IDEA?
It does. It shows where all the required services under the California Education Codes are provided at each of the schools. The budget it's comprehensive in the things that are required to be accounted for through the SELPA. It's not particularly reflective necessarily of the adjustments made for our reductions in the districts. It's comprehensive of the SELPA services, but does in fact assure that all the assurances in the plan will be met and all the services to students will be met.
And it was also presented in April to the CAC, the Community Advisory Committee for Special Education.
That was the next thing I was going to say. We presented it to the CAC in April to ensure that they had the opportunity to review it and provide input. It's, again, something we do every year.
Thank you.
Did you open the public hearing?
Oh, yeah. We'll open the public hearing. We've got two speakers, Francisca Salcedo and Moira Albertin, and you've each got 3 minutes.
Hello, I'm Francisca Salcedo. I reviewed the plan and I have serious concerns about it. Like I mentioned during public testimony, I have a 5-year-old, he'll be a kindergartner in the fall, who is also an English learner. And with this plan, I just don't feel that it addresses the needs of English learners who also have special needs, like my son. In our district, for example, we have about 3,000 students who are long-term English learners with special needs. And I feel like we're being robbed by this school district. My community, my English learner community is being robbed because I stood here in October of 2014 imploring the district not to reassign the English learner support teachers without having a plan to provide equitable services, and the district did not listen. And that is in violation of so many protections that are afforded to students who are English learners and who have special needs. Now with these budget cuts, a lot of support staff like occupational therapy assistants and the like are going to be reassigned or are going to be laid off. That is going to affect our children, our English learners, a lot more than other students, because English learners with special needs have very complex educational needs. And without an English learner support teacher to organize the services for them, it's going to be very difficult. And like I said in my public testimony, if the plan, a local plan, does not address the needs of students who are English learners, then it is impossible for my son and for all the other English learners with special needs to receive a free and appropriate public education in this district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Maura Albritton. As the chairperson of the CAC, I want to convey that there was an opportunity for our committee to review and comment prior to this public hearing. Additionally, staff attended our April 13th, 2017 general membership meeting to receive concerns. The information contained within the plan is kind of usual and customary in format and content, and while I recognize one of our CAC members who has some concerns, I do hope that we can work specifically on the LCAP next year to maybe work on those concerns, because I'm not sure that those are adequately able to be addressed in a local plan of this nature. And I did sign the plan, and the real conversation, though, will be G1, my item.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Maura. Okay, any board member questions or comments? If not, please vote. Okay, thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, can we get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Okay, please vote. And now we'll call Maura back up. Item G1, this is the Community Advisory Committee for Special Education semi-annual update to the board.
Did you do that?
Yeah, we just did that.
I missed that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's go back and do we have a motion for item? Yeah, no, we just did that. The board consent agenda. Yep, thanks.
You said the consent agenda. You didn't say board consent agenda.
Board consent agenda.
Yeah.
Those three. Yeah, those are all, yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, I think we're asking Ms. Alpert, yeah. There we go. Yeah. No.
Decided to be comfortable. Okay, let's talk special education. So my first slide is a photo credit to Dan Howe from your communications department. On May the 4th, Star Wars Day, we did some appreciative inquiry as a CAC to celebrate some Jedis in our midst. For those folks on that screen and some others, they are working to create exceptional educational outcomes for students with disabilities. And I want to thank Trustee McQuarrie, Vice President Beiser, and Superintendent Martin for coming and supporting our event. I think we've been doing it slightly more than a decade now, and I hope that you can see that it's a little value added to your district.
It's an excellent program. Thank you
thanks.
so much.
Okay, so on this slide, I want to emphasize just 3 items. Not that the other 2 aren't also important, but trying to keep to the 10 minutes. Your bookends, that is your early childhood special education students, as well as students that are in a transition age program, they really need to merit much more attention than we've been giving them. For early childhood, we really have a capacity issue, and it really needs to be addressed, and you'll see a slide at the very end about that. And then our transition age students, we still have kind of a lag with getting meaningful, individualized programming within students' individual and respective communities. So compliance is a strain for these 2 areas, and your special education department folks need to be able to focus on those bookends. The K-12 general ed should have the con of that, but we really need that focus. We've had a lot of publicity tonight about bullying of some subgroups. I want you to know that we also have bullying going on among our students with disabilities by peers and occasionally by some employees. We still have at some of our sites the R word being bandied around. We also have now the word autistic used as a slur towards students, and those are both very upsetting. I think the statistics are 24.5% of elementary students with disabilities, 34% middle school students with disabilities experience peer bullying. That is 1.5 times the rate for a bullying than a person without disabilities would be expected to experience. So I do have a proposal for your consideration coming soon to a slide near you. And moderate to severe classroom consolidation at elementary sites, I do want to ask the 5 of you to take a stand on something that I see as a civil rights issue. I am told that about 50% of our projected moderate to severe classrooms will still serve their students with disabilities from K to 5th grade in one classroom by one educational specialist, even after changes that were introduced for this coming fall. When I walk around a comprehensive site, however, I hear parents express concern or outrage when we talk about having a combo classroom in general ed with just 2 grades. And so I kind of contrast those. We're talking ages 5 all the way up to like sometimes 11 or 12-year-olds, one classroom. It's impossible for that education specialist to deliver grade-appropriate access to standards. It's unfair to students who desperately need those age-appropriate social and communication role models. And it's not really safe for a little 5-year-old kindergartner to be in there with someone who's going through puberty. Non-public schools, when I tour them, they don't group students in that way, in that one-room schoolhouse model. And so that model isn't right for kids, and I would love for you all to direct staff to go ahead and fix that all the way. My next slide, we had a really excellent response when we presented at the LCAP Planning Committee. And so we are going to go ahead and sunset this committee in order to create one on equity issues. We are confident that the district can work to achieve parity in the suspension rates between students with disabilities and those without, if that LCAP and its action steps can be implemented. My next slide, though, I do want to, our committee really had some really interesting discussions around the idea of middle school and discipline. When you look at the data, and there was a lot of it provided, thank you, district, the fact is almost every cluster sees this huge spike in suspension rates at the middle school. What I did in this slide is the blue is your middle school, the green is your high school, and I grouped the clusters together. There was no point in giving you cluster names because that's not the important takeaway. But in this slide, you can see a student with a disability has kind of a 25% chance of experiencing a suspension in a given year. So that's disrupting their education, it's disrupting classrooms, and so we need to do something about it. Anyway, so we came up with some kind of common sense from the community, really authentic types of recommendations. I'm going to cover just a few, and we would love for middle school principals to consider that these might have some huge potential upside for our students, especially those with disabilities. So in number 2, just speaking about behavior, positive reinforcement of positive behavior is best. So, and immediacy is another key ingredient to a behavior plan. So I'm not speaking to CIF athletics and all of that. I'm just talking about when you fail in the classroom, you get a poor grade. That is your negative reinforcer, if you will. But in some situations, we get a bad grade, and then, oh yeah, we're now going to punish you over here for having a bad grade. We're not going to let you be in this activity, or we're not going to let you attend a dance, or whatever. And that loss of privilege kind of goes against what we really want for our students, especially our vulnerable learners. We want them to be less likely to drop out, less likely to consider self-injury, more likely to find a way to contribute and to show up and fit in. So that's something I'd like folks to look at. Number 3 is my personal favorite. An enterprising principal could reduce some paraprofessional costs, because when you have a student with a disability who needs to go use the locker room, then we have to not only have a paraprofessional, we need to have the one of the right gender, we have this whole process. The locker room, we have to agree as people, is a giant bullseye of insufficient supervision and zero instructional benefit in my world. We have 5th graders dress for school to be active. Somehow magically, because they go to 6th grade, we can't expect them to show up in appropriate clothes and sensible shoes. So as a mom, I am proposing that some middle school principal consider closing the grabassery loophole and just having kids come, be ready to learn, and see what happens. See if that eliminates an opportunity for bullying. Number 5, you're all looking at me like that's wildly unusual. Competency-based grading. This could be a real game changer for students with disabilities and other vulnerable students. It's a conversation worth having, but it's a conversation that will take longer than my 10 minutes. Number 6, this goes to the bullying issue that I referenced. With those statistics, rather than appealing to you for disability-specific training, when I know there's no money and no staff, I would like you to provide bystander intervention training to middle schoolers to address every single kind of bully and to essentially deputize a whole crop of youthful first responders. Available statistics suggest that when a peer is the one that redirects, distracts, intervenes, 50% of the time the bully abandons that target. That's 50% of the time we aren't having to refer kids for punishment, and it changes the culture. So I think it would be a wonderful skill set, one that every single, whether you're right, left, center, you would like your kid to come out with that skill set. And then number 7, Face has taken a beating tonight, but I did come up with a way that they could really help middle school principals and get some great middle school valued swag by being the one point of contact going out there and getting Padre tickets or whatever is available from our community, and being able to give those to the populations that want to implement school-wide positive behavior intervention systems. So
Laura, I think you skipped past number 4.
that's because I only have 10 minutes, sir. If you want me to talk about it, I'll talk about it, though. But then she has to turn off my timer.
We'll give you 30 seconds to talk about it.
So with number 4, right now, a lot of middle schools have this very brief advisory period. It is, at least my children reported, not always particularly helpful to them. A lot of times it's checking materials, checking that they're using their planners, but the real work for planners and materials, of course, occurs in every single classroom, which this one advisory teacher can't necessarily know. The concept with our committee was to consider having really specific social skills curriculum lessons. I know a lot of elementary schools do character, but this is really looking at social skills that we expect of adults. You have amazing ASB folks up here, and they've developed those skills, but for our students with disabilities in particular, that's an opportunity to be in a general ed setting and having really specific curriculum delivered. So that was the thought there.
Thank you.
So quick facts, just as a quick subliminal slide, just to say we're everywhere. And just, the other fact that kind of came up this year was just that 1 in 10 of students with disabilities is GATE, that I'm not sure we all know. And now you do, because I just told you. So, I need to talk now about kind of an uncomfortable reality. So on behalf of a community of families, there is a perception, and you've heard, I'm sure you hear of it, that where you live and how your parents speak and what you look like influences the district's offer of a free and appropriate public education. I say this as an obviously Caucasian, middle-aged, non-soccer mom. But the fewer dollars that can support scarce resources, the worse that potential divisiveness within our district becomes. So this is kind of a call to revisit Dr. Hare, Dr. Hernandez, Dr. Naranjo, your beautiful November 30th, 2010 Board of Education resolution. Maybe bring it back out of the archives and take a look-see, and really look to where are we on this work. We know that eligibility about a decade ago was deeply affected by skin color, but to my knowledge, we have never looked as a district downstream at equity in the experience of a student with disabilities after they're in our system. So on my watch next year, we intend to do so. We need procedures that will minimize bias in IEP teams' determinations of student need. We need authentic, accessible dispute resolution options for families who cannot afford to meet with an advocate or an attorney because they have to go to their job, and they cannot bear the burden of expensive expert witnesses. So really the likelihood of supplemental supports should be the same no matter which subdistrict a family resides within. So I'm going to give you a statistic. 2/3 of our identified students with disabilities are eligible for free and reduced meals. But when you take the population of students who are enrolled in non-public schools from our district, only 31%, I believe it is, of those students qualify for free and reduced meals. So there's one discrepancy, and I haven't even asked for data. So what we hope to do is work with the equity student ambassadors, working with Stan, to learn what they observe on sites, whether it's about busing, just student perspective. And we also, anyone hearing me talk about this, please, if you're interested, this is an ad hoc committee will be stood up, and that means any member of the community can participate, staff, parent, agency rep, anyone. You can email me at cac@sandy.net. That's Charlie, Alpha Charlie at sandy.net if you would like to be part of that work. So just to kind of summarize that civil rights issue, I don't care if I'm the worst parent a staff member's ever had to deal with. And of course, my kids are probably watching at home going, yes, she is the worst. But sorry, that was a joke. But however you define worst, a child's needs and their services have to be independent of those ecological factors that you associate with family, residency, income, all those things. So that pupil is still owed that free and appropriate public education. So I think it's going to be interesting, and hopefully this is going to help us address Francisca's concerns about the LCAP, other community members' concerns. And then this is our town hall meeting. This is going to be our last general membership meeting of this school year, and so I'm asking for your help getting this word out. We would like to talk about what kind of programmatic changes would be welcomed. We want to hear people's experiences, mostly what they want, not what they don't want. And anyway, happy to hear any comments or concerns.
Great, thank you, Maura. Superintendent, do you want to respond first?
Yes, thank you so much for this report and continuing to work with our staff in collaborative nature that you do. I wanted to say the Above and Beyond awards that I went to were phenomenal. The way you specifically recognized individual staff members, community members, people that have been part of supporting our students with disabilities, and the way you lifted them up. You put together an event with such care and intentionality, and I really appreciate that in your leadership. What you presented tonight is very much in alignment with the way that we think and want to operate and provide service to our students. You're very thoughtful in what you've put together, and we actually have a board item coming up at a next meeting where Deanne will come up and she'll be addressing the comprehensive report that you've put forward tonight. Thank you.
Any other? No.
Yeah, Dr. Whitehurst.
Thank you for that report, and I'm very interested in your recommendation for middle school.
Well, thank you.
I started
It's not mine alone.
I started out at the middle school level, and let's just say I prefer high schools and elementary schools, personally. But I think you've tapped into something that's really important, and that is if we can find a way to help them to help each other. And I think it was last week I was at the Lincoln Cluster, and the Knox Middle School students came and presented their restorative practices. And it was wonderful to see the leaders on that campus who now, if they see a student being bullied or a student who's having issues, they take the leadership role and go to that student. And I'm hoping that as we expand that, because this afternoon, the president, the chair, and I met with a group of folks who are working on this restorative practice across the district as a committee, and they'll be working with you, the superintendent, because we think that it has to go to the level of the students. An adult will not always be around, but if we teach children to take that leadership and that ownership role, then they can stop some of the bullying that we're talking about and ensure that all children are safe regardless to what their background is and whatever the issue is, whether it's special education or religion or whatever it is. If the children will stand up and do it and demand that they respect each other, I think we'll move forward in society.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I had the same reaction to what you said on the middle school recommendations. I think they're very good, and I would hope that the superintendent could, or the middle school principals, or someone could meet with maybe with your committee to kind of go over some of these ideas. I mean, a couple of them, obviously, what she was talking about in terms of the bystander responses and so forth, as far as how that's all handled. But then also this issue of the piling on of consequences and the zero grading, that you don't turn a paper and so then it's just lost forever versus you still need to do it. This piling on of consequences, it just
I knew you would like that
deeper
one.
and deeper hole, and you need to have the discipline needs to be proportionate to the abilities of the student and what size chunk they can handle. So I think that can make it. I think a lot of this carries forward to the general population of students, but I think this is a really good place to start with the students with disabilities.
Trustee Beiser.
Thank you very much for your continued service on the CAC and all your work helping children, especially the ones that need it the most. You're absolutely right that the middle school is an incredible challenge. As a veteran middle school teacher, I completely understand and get it. And there is a huge amount of responsibility in terms of the culture at the middle school, but a lot of those, sense of community, a lot of that is learned in the elementary grades. And, learning, just having the elementary school come and present today about what they're doing to have 4th and 5th and 6th grade students become leaders and learn how to treat each other with respect and to celebrate their diversity and to help each other instead of tearing each other down. That's going to carry over into the middle grades because while the middle schools are very, very important in making sure that kids get on track to graduate, some people believe that for some children it may be too late by then. And I totally concur with what Dr. Evans said about the zero grading policy. That is Ken O'Connor's Grading for Learning. It's a book. It's a great book talking about helping children to achieve the learning of the content by the end of the assessment period instead of the beginning or the middle. It's like pack your parachute kind of stuff. But, a lot of educators know what I'm talking about. And I really, really appreciate you talking about it as well. I do have a question. You had said that the next meeting you're going to be soliciting input on programmatic changes that parents or people in the community would like to see. We're looking at a pretty substantial programmatic change next year in San Diego Unified with the consolidation of some of the special education services. With that programmatic change, did the CAC address that or talk about that at your last couple of meetings? Or
are you talking about the consolidation of elementary? So I just want to clarify, our June 8th meeting is going to be specifically around the issues around early childhood special education. Speaking to the elementary consolidation, we took in a great deal of, I would say, public testimony of primarily from folks who were concerned because it was a change, it was kind of thrust upon them. I don't think that's the way Deanne Ragsdale would have liked to have had it happen. And I think I've been mostly quiet because I can appreciate how it would be very hard for the individual, but my responsibility as the chair is to look at the system and what is good for the system in terms of a high quality of instruction. And so when you go back to these very small pockets of very diverse students, and especially grade level diversity in one room, without those role models, without the access to the general ed curriculum, I've remained silent on the consolidation because I'm hopeful, especially if you make sure that we have like K to 3 and K to 2 and 3 to 5 grades. We really need to have high quality instruction and standards, access to standards. I don't want a student, because they're deemed moderate to severe, to be immediately deemed not diploma bound by virtue of that assignment.
Right. So you're wanting what I'm hearing you say is that you want to wait and assess the impacts for the children as a result of the systemic change for consolidation of the elementary services. Is that correct?
I think that when students have appropriate groupings, like we in general education just naturally happens for most of our students, I think that's appropriate. When we have these contrived, very large groups of students that only really have this moderate to severe stamp, that's the thing that glues this class together. That seems very unlikely. I think students belong with their peers to the maximum extent possible. I think we have a commitment to the least restrictive environment.
Right.
I think that when we have these self-contained or special day classes, we used to call them, the vast majority of students belong with general education for as much of the day as we can, but we have to make sure that that's meaningful education. It gets me back into talking about universal design for learning, and then I'll be up here all night.
Right.
But I would love to see those supports being able to be layered upon those consolidated classrooms, and I would love to come back next year and have the special ed department showing you that students have met more goals, they've performed better, and so I'm suspending judgment on the rest of it until we get that data.
And that's really what we do, right? We implement change based upon data and information, and then we assess, right? How did it go?
I mean, it's a year for those students, though, so
Right.
we don't like to guess. We like to.
You're right, and I don't imagine that the programmatic change for special education students is guesswork. I believe in my heart of hearts that Superintendent Martin and her staff are really taking a very thoughtful approach to try to figure out how do we make sure that we provide the best services for these kids. And like you know, and I'm sure the board and the parents and the community, we look forward to getting some assessment data to see do we need to make some adjustments, or are these level of services being able to help students to achieve their goals? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I was going to ask, Superintendent, I know we've got the staff report coming
May
up.
30th.
May 30th, but did you have any quick thoughts on this issue of the, grouping students together by grades in the moderate to severe?
Well, like what Moira said, and being able to provide students the most appropriate learning environment and giving them access to rigorous curriculum when they can learn amongst their peers, we want to see what that looks like. We know, I can talk about my own experience and what I've seen at the school where I worked, and actually my brother being able to learn in an environment where he has his peers. We know that being able to put the services where they're most needed and being able to have a systemic approach to it is the way we want to go about it. And Moira, I know you have your opinions and you're being very thoughtful about your personal opinions about this right now, but we want to look at what the service delivery model looks like, and being able to not have students just in a classroom with one or two students in the back of a room, maybe not getting access to the curriculum in the way that they deserve.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other board questions or comments? Thank you, Moira. Appreciate your presentation. Okay, we'll move on to item G2. This is the action on the charter petition to establish the National University Academy. And we've got a staff recommendation.
I'll move staff recommendation.
And we have
As Deidre's coming up here with three huge binders.
I'll second. And we got a motion and a second on staff recommendations. Open.
Charter schools always have thick notebooks.
Yeah.
Good evening, thank you. Item G2 is an action item for the charter petition to establish National University Academy 1001 STEAM. Staff is recommending denial of the charter petition and has included 11 different findings in support of the denial, and staff is recommending that the board adopts those written factual findings to support the denial. I'll go through them quickly, and then there's another section where I'll provide some more detail, but just to go through the 11 findings. Petitioners are demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement the program based on a prior history of unsuccessfully operating charter schools. The petition does not contain a reasonably comprehensive description of measurable pupil outcomes, and petitioners are demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement the program because the measurable pupil outcomes are vague and unmeasurable. The petition presents an unsound educational program by allowing exemptions from immunizations that are required by law. Petitioners are demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement the program based on overly optimistic enrollment projections and conflicting information presented regarding grade levels served and student enrollment. Petition presents an unsound educational program based on inaccurate and unclear academic data being reported. The petition does not contain a reasonably comprehensive description of employee qualifications. The petition presents an unsound educational program because the school has been in operation for several years but did not submit the current LCAP or a draft LCAP with the petition. Petition presents an unsound educational program because the school has an academic calendar that does not match any district calendar, but is proposing to be a school of the district for special education staffing and services. Petitioners are demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement the program because the budget included in the petition is not compliant with requirements of Ed Code Section 47605G and does not appear to meet the necessary calculations to be funded under the requirements of California Code of Regulations 11963.4. Petitioners are demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement the program because the school has presented an unrealistic financial and operational plan, and because the budget is based on overstated ADA and incorrect assumptions, resulting in a financial plan that is not sustainable and not fiscally viable. So the public hearing for the school to consider the level of support for the petition was held on April 4th. The school is currently authorized by Lakeside Union School District and serves grades 6 through 12 at a non-district facility located within our boundaries off of Arrow Court. This petition was submitted to our district by the school as part of a transition plan to make all of their sites compliant with current authorizer and geographic requirements. The school proposes to be authorized by San Diego Unified School District as of July 1, 2017. We've included a table which summarizes the projected enrollment of the school. If you'd like, the next section has some details regarding each of the findings. I'm happy to provide some more details if you'd like.
Okay, thanks, Deidre. We've got a few public speakers, and then we'll come back to questions. Kimberly Kopp, Abdur Amin, Dr. Saleh Fete, Dr. Jennifer Ryder-Cook. You each have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Kopp. I'm the Executive Director of National University Academy 1001 STEAM. I hope you have had a chance to look over, we did send a response to the findings that we received. If you have not, I brought a couple extra ones with me, so I'll just hand that to Cheryl if that's
Sure, thank you.
You know, when I read the charter findings that the charter office wrote, so at times I thought I wasn't reading about our school. And other times I thought some of these are technical issues that we could resolve with some further discussion. I think there's some confusion between NUA as an entire school and the part of the existing school, a program within it, 1001 STEAM, that we have petitioned to San Diego Unified to become its own school in its own right. The other areas I wanted to just kind of briefly touch on in my 3 minutes, the academic calendar. You know, you're asking, we could start a week later to be in line with the district. That's an easy fix. Measurable pupil outcomes, which you see in there, it was acceptable by our current authorizer, Lakeside Union. We're happy to amend those to be in line with the district. If you'd like to see more student achievement per year, we're happy to go somewhere within the 2 to 6% that most of your schools are currently processing in. With regards to immunizations, that's not a local thing. That is governed by local authority. It is we work very closely with the Department of Health and Human Services and have had clean audits with regards to our immunizations every year. Budgets, we're happy to send you something that is more in line with what you're looking for. We're happy to operate with what we currently have in grades 6 through 12, and we would project with that a growth of 25 students per year. With regards to my record, it is correct I have closed some schools. They were opened under the former executive director, and when I came into this position in 2014, I assessed all the programs and all the schools to see if they were structurally sound and financially viable. Some of them were not. Leader has to make tough choices, and I made them. I closed the schools that were not performing. This one, however, has been vetted and is going to make it. It has been making it for almost a decade now. So to say that our school is demonstrably unable to execute a program that has been executed, has been in operation for nearly a decade, with clean audits with regards to finance, special education, immunizations, externally vetted for operations, student achievement multiple times by multiple organizations that include WASC. It just doesn't make sense. At least, if nothing else, should warrant some further discussion. One thing I do agree with in the assessment is that there is no impact, financial or otherwise, to the district. That's if you decide to take us on. Come see for yourself. Meet our students, talk to our staff, meet with the professors that teach our kids. Give us a chance to show you what we can do. You've got nothing to lose. We can do the things we say we can do because we've done them before. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Abdur Amin. I'm here representing some of the families and parents and students that are currently attending the NUA 1001 Academy. I just wanted to highlight some of the key features that have made this school pretty special from observing and seeing it close up. We see a lot of small class sizes in which students are really able to interact with their teachers and really be able to learn on a level that I haven't been able to do, even when I was in high school. One of the unique features of this school is the incredible use of technology that they are implementing, which I think we really need to consider is a great skill to have for the future in terms of understanding the technology, utilizing some of the resources that they're doing, the communications that they have between parents and students. It's incredible. The school has many different students from many different backgrounds, and it's really a safe space where students from many underrepresented communities, refugee communities, and other students of all faiths and backgrounds and different areas are even coming from to really learn in this environment. This hybrid program in which they're being able to have that flexibility, I think really prepares them for the future, in which we're currently seeing that the current job force and demand calls for the ability to have those sort of skills to work remotely, to be able to utilize different technological tools. And the one other thing I really wanted to highlight is the incredible focus that they have made in technology and robotics, in which there are tons of students who are really actively engaged in coding and programming and really being able to learn these things. And one of the unique features of is that there are so many young women that are in this robotics program that are doing really amazing things and participating in different events and activities. And if we know anything, that there is still a great underrepresentation of women in science right now in these STEAM subjects. And these students are going to go into their futures being able to, go into computer science, mathematics, other science subjects in which they're going to be the future leaders and workers of the community. And when I'm looking at this mission statement over here with these keywords of graduate, succeed, lead, and participate, I see this NUA STEAM 1001 Academy is in complete alignment with what the San Diego Unified School District mission statement is, and it would be a great shame if there was no way to make this succeed. Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent Martin, President Barrera, members of the board. My name is Dr. Jennifer Ryder-Cook. I am the Director of School Development for Southern California for the California Charter Schools Association. I just wanted to let you know the process by which Kimberly and her team and NUA has gone through in order to present the petition to you. I review dozens of petitions every year for CCSA, and they decided to be collaborative with us and improve their petition and work on their petition with us to submit a legally compliant petition to you. So I respectfully disagree with your staff's findings with regards to their recommendation for denial. They are obviously already in existence. They have a track record. They are part of a respected organization in the community, of which you have many, many teachers who have been a part of that national university community. and they have consistently worked with myself as well as Miles Durfee and Michelle Anderson on the regional advocacy team in order to consistently and constantly improve their program. And so with that, we have not only their petition to look at, but also the capacity of their team and their ability to implement a successful educational program. So I urge you to not take the recommendation of your staff and to vote and approve the charter petition that would be authorized by you for the 1001 STEAM. And I'd like to just ask if anybody's here on behalf in support of 1001 STEAM to please stand up so the board can see the representation here. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept staff recommendation. Any questions or comments from board members? Dr. Whitehurst-Payne.
Had some earlier discussion with the staff about this. I guess I'm concerned about the kind of issues in the findings in terms of not meeting just simple things. So you want to comment on that?
Sure. So when the district receives a charter petition, essentially what we do is we look at what's within the document itself. We also conduct a capacity interview. There is district staff and charter leaders that sit in on that interview. But what the process is the petition gets vetted by multiple departments within the district, so it's not just the charter office. We compare what is within the four corners of the document with what is the legal standard or what is contained in California Ed Code, California Code of Regulations, and we try to match them up. And if we identify areas where they are missing something, we call it a deficiency. When we see those areas, that's what becomes noted in our findings. So, you know, there are various things. There's budget ones, there's
right, but do you
ones.
engage in a dialogue with them about those issues so that anything that can be corrected is corrected, or I mean, what kind of feedback and the interaction goes on?
There is not a feedback period. Many years ago, that was a component of the process, but what happened is the district kind of stepped into the shoes and became a co-writer or a co-petitioner in guiding petitions and petitioners on how to correctly write it. So essentially, the back and forth is we identify a deficiency, they pull their paperwork, they correct everything, they bring it back. Other deficiencies are identified, and so it keeps going back and forth. And at some point, the district, like I said, becomes a co-writer. So we don't do that. We consider what you submitted is your final product.
And I'm assuming, based on that the charter petitioners have all of the information that's guidelines about what's being looked for.
What we base it on is California Ed Code and California Code of Regulations. We don't have like an internal charter office checklist that we go through. Some authorizers do that. We look strictly at what does Ed Code require and CC&R require, and we match up the petition to that.
Right. I mean, when you were referring historically to the process, I do remember in years past that it was the petitioners would present something, and we'd say, well, this is not quite right, and go back and do that over and do that over, and it almost became like, if you were, the example I gave is if you were applying for college and the admissions office kept sending you back the application to say, you know, you need to improve on this or this for us to accept you. Yeah.
Well, I think for me, given where we are today, is it a fact that they've been in operation for 10 years, not with us, but in operation as a charter?
I can't verify this site. What this operator has is they're authorized through Lakeside, and I believe have been for a number of years. They have multiple sites in different areas in San Diego County and also in an adjacent county. And so because it's under one charter petition, all of those sites get wrapped up into one identifier with CDE. That's what made part of this difficult in looking at their academic data, because we know from the petition that they have 115 students at this site, but they reported test scores for 300 and some students. So discerning this specific site from the whole of the 5 sites is very difficult. So in all, they have, I believe, just under 900 students throughout the sites, and we're trying to look at specifically one site because they're not proposing to come to us to have the other 4 authorized.
So we don't really have a true picture of this one site, which is a part of
it's
the
difficult
whole conundrum.
to separate it out because everything is in one thing right now. They have one code from CDE, like their SARC is one report that accounts for the, at that time it was last year's report, for the 800 students.
But isn't that something that we would require if we took them on as a district organization? We'd have to have it bifurcated anyway?
Correct.
So that we're not looking at whatever's going on in Riverside or wherever else they are, but
Correct.
strictly in San Diego?
That would be the goal, and that's what some of the findings are based on is we need you're asking us for one site in San Diego, and so we need the information on that one site, not your combined sites. And I think the petition had a combination of both, it appears.
So in a sense, this particular charter has submitted an application or for a contract, which is unacceptable in a number of critical areas. And as a district who provides oversight, and we have an important obligation and responsibility to authorize charters that do meet state guidelines and regulations and have demonstrated a likelihood of success. And based upon your findings, this charter has severe and many discrepancies. And I can understand that the idea would be that we could go back and forth and help and identify areas of weakness, but there's also an obligation on part of the charter to submit a solid application for a request for a charter contract that meets the law. And in a couple of these, I'm wondering that are fairly severe. What is the rationale for them not submitting an LCAP, which should be required by any school in the state who are receiving public money to run a program?
Yeah, so within the petition, they just indicated that their goals and progress are combined in an LCAP that is for all National University Academy programs, so that would have been all of their sites and programs, and that they will develop an LCAP for this site. They also indicated within the petition that this school would establish policies and procedures related to the LCF and LCAP. So we, quite honestly, were a little bit shocked that we didn't at least get the current LCAP or a draft, and for them to say in the petition that they would establish policies. As an operator, we would have expected to see those things already established.
Sure. And then on item finding number 9, that talks about not compliant with the requirements of Ed Code Section 47605G. Can you elaborate on that?
So that section in Ed Code requires them to provide a proposed first-year operational budget, including startup costs, and then they also have to provide cash flow and financial projections for the first 3 years of operation. We do know that there, among charter schools and operators, there is some discrepancy on if the cash flow is required to be a 1-year projection or a 3-year projection. This district interprets it to be a 3-year projection, and in looking at the resources available publicly, FCMAT, the Fiscal Crisis and Management Assistance Team that helps with educational entities in the state, their guidance is that it is a 3-year cash flow, 3-year budget projection, multi-year budget projection. So that was lacking. Would you also like me to address the non-classroom based funding? So non-classroom-based programs are funded differently than a seat-based program. Essentially, non-classroom-based programs have to complete a funding determination, and you have to meet certain calculations and percentages in order to be funded. The minimum being 35% of your, let me read the exact language, percentage of total expenditures for salaries and benefits of all employees who possess a valid teacher certificate and work in a position required to provide direct instruction or direct instructional support to students. So those combined have to meet a minimum of 35% in order for you to be funded. That you can request waivers. In this situation, you can see in the table following at the end of finding number 9, the percentages that they had for that criteria. It was 22.93 in first year, 24.59. They never get above 30%. So by these standards, they wouldn't receive their funding via the non-classroom based funding criteria. You can submit a mitigating circumstances request to the state that the Charter Commission and CDE review and make a recommendation on, but in reviewing some of those, we have seen that one of the reasons that they will not issue them or agree to them is if you're an operator who's been in business and should know how to do this process and know how this process works. And we do know that one of their other sites, I believe it was the Robla Charter, was also non-classroom based, and they have done this process, the non-classroom based funding determination for that site.
Thank you.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. No other questions or comments, please vote.
On staff recommendation.
On the motion to support staff recommendation.
The staff recommendation.
Yeah. Okay. We will move on to item G3. This is the revision to add an additional site for the Urban Discovery Academy.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. And do we have a second?
Additional site.
I'll second.
Okay, and do we have speakers? Okay. Looks like we have one speaker. Deidre, did you want to?
Yes, thank you. So this item is also an action item on the revision to the charter to add a additional site for urban discovery. Staff is recommending that the board grant the charter revision to add a location at 232 West Ash Street, effective May 17, 2017. We do note the charter school is responsible for ensuring that the new location complies with California building codes and any applicable CEQA review. The Urban Discovery Academy charter petition was originally approved July 1, 2008 to serve grades K-8. They are currently located on a non-district site at 840 14th Street. On April 5th, 2016, the school received a charter revision that was approved by this board to add grades 9 through 12 to operate what it calls ID8 High School, beginning in the 2016-17 year. Since the approval of those grade expansions, Urban has been trying to locate a site to house that high school program. It's right now in with the K-8 program at 14th Street. So they've found a number of sites, but for various reasons detailed in the table, none of them were either brought forward or approved. So now they have this site, and we are again recommending approval. This site has the correct occupancy and up until last year was housing a county office of ed program. And so we've also included some overview tables of Urban Discovery's actual enrollment and most recent academic data, and then also their projected enrollment for the K-12 program, which would encompass both sites. There's the board roster is included, and they have submitted all of their LCAP and other required items timely to the district.
Great. We have one speaker, Jenny Owen. Jenny, you have 3 minutes.
We're two. Pardon. Good evening, Superintendent Martin, Mr. Barrera, and the board. I just want to not take too much of your time other than to say thank you for making the recommendation. We're very excited about the site. We've been really needing to get out of occupying the K-8 facility. We're just a little bit tight in there, so our students are really excited. We're also really excited at the success of our program this year, so this is a great opportunity for us, and thank you in advance for your consideration.
Thank you.
And I'll be here if you have questions.
Okay, any questions or comments from board members?
Yeah, just a question about how you're going to keep both. They're going to keep both sites. This is an additional site.
Correct. This
and
is
then
the second
what's
site.
the distribution of grade level, or is it going to be the new site will be the high school, or?
The current 14th Street site will be their K-8 site, and then this new site will house 9 through 12.
And I notice on the map it's just 7 minutes away by walking.
By walking.
It is, yes.
Okay, with no other questions or comments, please vote. All right. Okay, and item G4, this is a revision to the charter of bylaws change for the Tubman Charter School. Do we have a motion and a second?
I move to approve.
Please vote. Okay, thank you, Deidre.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to item H1. This is our third interim financial report.
Thank you, President Barrera. I'll have Gammy Rayburn join me up here for the third interim report, and as she's joining me, just like to update you that we know that recently, that just this past week, the governor's budget came out, but this third interim report is reflecting before that date, and there are not significant changes from second interim to third interim, and the third interim is a report that's required while we continue to be in qualified status, so we don't see a lot of changes from second to third, and I might have just done the whole presentation for Gammy by saying that. Mr. Rayburn.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Martin, district staff, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we're presenting to you the third interim financial report update of the district. This is our general fund projections as of April 30th, 2017. My presentation will follow this agenda, and I don't have to read them individually. At second interim reporting period, the board certified that the district is on a qualified status. District unqualified or negative status is required to submit a third interim financial report to the County Office of Education by May 15th. In order to meet this deadline, we submitted a copy of this report to the county yesterday. The report reflects our projections as of April 30th, 2017. The board is not required to approve this report, nor you're required to update the district's certification status at this time. So the third interim report reflects no financial changes to our projections as of the second interim reporting period. There's no change in revenues, expenditures, or contributions to restricted programs. We will provide an update to you of the changes based on the governor's May revision to his proposed budget that was presented last January on May 30th. Our multi-year assumptions are based on financial information that is subject to change. We have listed some of those factors here tonight to inform you that some of those factors will definitely change what we will bring back to you in June. The LCFF implementation gap funding, we know, is changing. We are currently projecting 96% for 2016-17, and no, I'm sorry, 17-18 is 96% and 98% in 18-19. the district's enrollment continued to decline, and we have very recent information that our 17-18 enrollment will decline further. The board has done a remarkable job in approving $124 million in budget solutions to balance the 17-18 budget. However, we are still faced with a $52.5 million deficit in 18-19, and budget solutions must be submitted to the County Office of Education by the first interim reporting period in 17-18. Federal funding is also uncertain at this time, and any decreases or reduction in federal funding will cause general fund unrestricted to make contributions to some of those programs. Salary protection, or sometimes known as star rating, is also unknown at this time. Employees who are bumped or assigned to a lower classification have salary protection for 18 months. And of course, our supplementary early retirement plan, the cost or the ultimate result of that will not be known until sometime in 17-18. Our multi-year projection assumptions for general fund revenues, like I have stated earlier, is unchanged. Like I said, we will update these assumptions once we receive our clarifying information from the state, as well as the workshop that we are going to be attending tomorrow, actually. We're going to the workshop tomorrow, the School Services of California's workshop, to receive more information regarding the May revision. Expenditure assumptions also unchanged from the second interim. Okay, the general fund unrestricted multi-year projection, because all of those assumptions did not change, it remained the same. We're still projecting $31.9 million in our ending balance for 16-17 and $28.7 million for 17-18 and $28.6 million in 18-19. The multi-year general fund, the total general fund projection also is unchanged. We are still projecting $68 million as the ending balance for 16-17, of which $36.1 million of that is restricted. And then in 17-18, $53.9 million in ending balance, of which $25.3 million is restricted. This is our general fund cash flow as of March 30th, and we are projecting to end the year with a positive cash balance of $82 million after we have made our final payment for our trans, and that was done in April. Our next, we are going to be, we received some May revised information on May 11th. It was not timely for this report to make any change, but we will come back and share with you an update on May 30th. In our next steps, we have LCAP planning team meeting on May 20th, and then some preliminary DLAC and DAC review. Late May, the governor's May revision, as I said, will be, you will hear an update from us on May 30th, and the LCAP workshop on June 6th. And then the first hearing of the 17-18 budget will be on June 13th, with the final adoption on June 27th.
Thank you, Ms. Rayburn.
Gammy, can I just ask, at the May 30th report, when you give us an update on the, is that me? On the May revise, will you also have an update on expenses? I mean, we've obviously, since the second interim, we've had some changes, positive or negative, in projected spending. So when will we have an update on that?
You will receive an update on June 13th.
On June 13th? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
President Breyer, related to this, I know we don't have to take action on this and appreciate the report, but I would like to make a motion regarding some direction to the superintendent. I realize at this point it's not required to update the certification status, but I think we really need to point out that we are now prepared to move from a qualified to a positive status. We've been qualified for a while, and there's always has been and still will be the uncertainty of the state funding. However, we have, in a very painful way, worked to correct the structural deficit this year that's been following us for a long time, and this is really going to actually enable us to have a more stable future. I mean, one of the goals that all of our employees and parents and everybody wants is to make sure that our schools are stable, and that's one of the reasons we're doing some of the painful things this year. We have obviously a lot of layoffs. We've tried to mitigate that with the early retirements, and we've always said and been consistent over the years that layoffs are a last resort, but we need to right-size the district in terms of the particular budget we have. So what I would like to move is that we direct the superintendent to work towards a positive certification towards the time of budget adoption in June, and in that it will include, by doing a positive certification, we will be actually pointing out how in the 2 out years we have a plan for actually how we're going to be able to meet those also. We've climbed a very big mountain this year in terms of doing it, and I think we can demonstrate how we will do that in the coming years, and I think it's a very important message to the public to realize that we really have taken some very serious steps to stabilize the finances of our schools so we can get back to focusing on the education of our students and not constantly talking about dollars and cents. And so the motion is to direct the superintendent to work with the staff and the County Office of Education to work towards a positive status on our budget.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Superintendent Martin, did you want to respond?
Yeah, thank you. That gives us the opportunity as we come forward. We'll be coming forward with a new report on the impact of the May revise, and then, of course, budget adoption, as Ms. Rayburn just lined out. I think at one of those 2 opportunities, there's the opportunity for you all to self-certify positive. The county doesn't certify officially. They do that once a year, and that's at the first interim in October. But the hard decisions and the difficult choices that have been made this year, I think, put us in position to be able to justify and talk about why a positive certification would be something we're seeking going forward. And as you said, Dr. Evans, looking at the out years, it's not just about the hard decisions this year, but how do we contemplate in the out years the $52 million, and to be able to begin to publicly talk about that. And as long as that conversation occurs and we make that part of the report, I can work with staff to begin working in that direction.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, please vote on Dr. Evans' motion. Okay, terrific.
Thank you, Ms.
again.
Rayburn.
Okay, can we get a motion on item H2?
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
Please vote.
It's a public hearing.
Bound. Public hearing is open.
Closed.
Public hearing is closed. Please vote. Okay. And item H3, can we get a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Please vote. Okay, and
I'll move item H4, the final decision on the SERP.
Great. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, and do we have, we have some speakers. I'm sorry, Superintendent Martin, did you want to?
Sure. Thank you, President Barrera. This is bringing forward our recommendation on the final decision for the supplemental early retirement plan for Office of Technical Business Services, Para-Educators, San Diego School Police Officers Association, Operations Support Services, and Administrators Association, Certificated Classified Confidential Employees, and non-represented managers. It's a long item. I want to put it into context so that we're clear on what we're bringing forward today. Today's report is put together by PARS, the group that we work with, to put together the supplemental early retirement packages. And PARS, specifically, this board item is not a budget document. document. And the document that's in the board item assumes 100% replacement. But as you know, I wanted to clarify that we're not asking for an additional expenditure by the board this evening. The PARS document is not the budget document. It's a document that assumes there's not any that there's 100% replacement. I wanted to clarify that and make sure that we're not asking for an additional expenditure. Our MOUs with each of our bargaining units for the supplemental early retirement clearly stated that we would go forward if they were cost neutral, and including making them cost neutral, we're bringing forward these SERPs tonight in a way that's cost neutral. They've been made cost neutral simply by not filling the vacancies in most or all of the units, and by the savings that we realized through the permanent work year reduction through the AASD bargaining unit. I want to say specifically the Administrators Association, I want to point out they were the only unit that agreed to a permanent work year reduction. And so to make sure that these are cost neutral, we identified the positions that we would hold vacant for some of the units and the permanent work year reduction for the Administrators Association. And I want to recognize the fact that when we approached the units, the Administrators Association did agree to a permanent work year reduction. So, in going forward, it's our recommendation that these cost-neutral supplemental early retirement programs for all of the units, rep and non-rep, are approved this evening.
Great, thank you, Superintendent. We've got a few speakers, Donis Cornell, Maria Moore Flagg, Donald Craig, Dana Shelburne, Peter Johnson, and Sabrina Hanlon, and ask 1 minute apiece, and hopefully that'll do it.
Good evening, Donis Cornell, President, AASD. I represent 84 AASD union members who have applied to take the SERP. The consequences of not approving the SERP will far outweigh any cost of the program. If the SERP were not to be approved, many of the 84 will be forced to rescind and stay. For those who are having their positions eliminated, this means they will be moved into jobs they haven't done for years. For our certificated members who are slated to return to teaching assignments at the top of the pay scale, this means that a teacher at the bottom of the pay scale will be laid off. For classified members who have to bump, this means another less senior classified employee will be laid off, and the AASD member will have salary protection for 18 months. This doesn't make good financial sense. AASD has sacrificed and given over and over. The superintendent has brought forward a proposal for your approval. Now is time for you to do the right thing for your management team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don.
I'm Peter Johnson, Plant Operations Supervisor at La Jolla High School. The SERP is an opportunity for young, highly productive, and motivated employees to promote and grow professionally. It'd be like replacing us 57 Chevys with new Corvettes. I've always envied my family and friends who work for private companies that give their employees generous year-end bonuses, profit sharing, performance rewards, as well as company-sponsored pensions. The SERP is what most retirees will need to offset exorbitant health care costs. Folks have arranged their personal and professional lives for retirement. Taking it away at the last moment would be cruel and dishonorable. Older employees who are going to retire would have to stay longer due to economic reasons, and if the SERP doesn't pass, these disgruntled employees will feel like newly indentured servants. Up and down the state, top educational leaders are watching San Diego Unified School District, so please do the right thing and vote yes for the SERP for AASD.
Good evening. I'm Maria Moore Flagg, an AASD Board of Directors member. I and a good number of AASD classified who have applied for the SERP will not retire or resign if the SERP is not approved. The result will be, as has been said, classified AASD members who are being bumped or whose positions have been eliminated will bump into assignments they do not want to be in or haven't held for years, remaining for several more years. Per contract, my current salary, which is $34,000 higher per year than the position I am bumping into, will be maintained for 18 months at a cost to the district. These options are not good for the district or for students. Like many others, it has been with a heavy heart that I have decided to accept the SERP. Please don't dangle the SERP in front of us like a carrot and then pull it back.
So
Good evening, board members. I'm Don Craig. I'm speaking as a longtime administrator and an AASD certificated manager's representative. I'm very much aware of the reasons that the district needs to make these drastic financial decisions and the historical reasons we've got there. The chain of events that's really not accounted for by the hard numbers is, as they said, that ASD members would return to the classroom and take away jobs from those specific teachers that I know you are under the most pressure to retain. I'd also like to point out that we've had dozens of vice principals that have been reassigned and their positions have left. That is our core of young leaders coming up through the district. It would really be a shame to have them either go to the classroom and do, as I said, and bump younger teachers, which you're trying not to do, or leave the district. And there is just a whole cadre of very promising young people that are coming up that I would hate to see not have the opportunity to go forth in the district. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good evening, Dana Shelburne, certificated Vice President of AASD. I want to share a little history. We, the certificated managers and supervisors of AASD, have been professional, cooperative members of the larger district team since our inception. We have been your loyal partners, and over the years we have repeatedly answered the call when the district has asked for our help in resolving budget crises. In 2004, AASD members sacrificed from 6 to 10 work days to the cause. In 2010, we contributed an additional 5. Recently, we were the first and apparently the only group to surrender 14 work days, a roughly 5% pay reduction for our members. If you remember, in Article 5 of the AASD contract of July 2010, the board stated that employee groups must sacrifice equally to address district budget issues. In that same article, the board held that those same groups must benefit monetarily with relative equality. AASD has embraced the board's policy of equal loss and equal gain and acted accordingly. In that spirit, we ask that the board adhere to that policy and approve the district proposed SERP for AASD. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan.
Good evening, Sabrina Hanlon, Para-President. I'm hoping that you will approve this. It's been over 10 years that it's been offered to a classified group. I have over 60 people over the age of 65 that will survive with this and be able to move forward in their life. I have one that's 80 years old that's still employed, which is astonishing. I have over 30 people that the 1-year conditional, spread over 5 actually, will help them pay for that insurance, health insurance till Medicare kicks in for them. So I please implore you all to vote yes on this. They're all waiting on bated breath. I've got Facebook going for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina, and thank you to all of the employees of our district who have served this district well and honorably over your careers and are now taking the SERP. And I think we're going to be proud to support you in this action. Dr. Evans?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something because I know, just to reiterate what the superintendent said, because as board members, we knew that when we were going to offer the SERP that it needed to be cost neutral. Because an early retirement program is not a budget solution, it's actually a solution to mitigate layoffs, and we reduce the number of layoffs by people retiring. And so I know some people saw some of in the original PARS, which is an estimated document if nobody that was retiring was replaced, or that they were all replaced, excuse me, where it came out to a big figure of $24 or $25 million. But the agreement with the units was that the SERP would not be offered unless it could be made cost neutral. And so what has happened is that the agreement was that the way to do that would be to not fill certain vacancies and other specific things they're actually paying for it. So it's not going to cost us money. What it's going to do is allow certain younger or more junior employees to stay on the job. And so I think that's just an important point to make. And as we were talking last week about the agreements with a couple or 2 or 3 bargaining units regarding the reduced work year furlough. I did fail to mention at that time when I was talking about it that the Administrators Association was the first one to step up and actually agreed to a permanent work year reduction, which has also contributed to our ability to do this on a cost-neutral basis. So that's why I think it's a very wise move in every sense, both from a budgetary standpoint, but particularly in terms of saving a lot of our employees.
Dr. McCrory?
I was going to let Kevin go first because I was going to call the question for the sake of the members out there who are waiting for it.
I just want to say thank you to Superintendent Cindy Martin and Chief of Staff Stacy Monreal for working so hard to try to figure out how to make this work so that we could offer a retirement incentive to all of our bargaining and unrepresented units, because we're a family. And we've worked together in this school district to achieve the #1 graduation rate in the state of California among like districts. And that doesn't happen by chance. That's a lot of people working together. And so I'm very, very happy that we're able to offer a retirement incentive to everybody in the proverbial family. And I do, just for the record, I do want a commitment. I understand that what Dr. Evans had mentioned is that the PARS documentation with the cost factors is not applicable in our situation because we're not going to have 100% replacement. So Superintendent Cindy Martin, could you just reaffirm the financials here? Because I want to make sure that a yes vote is budget neutral.
Yes, in accordance with the MOUs that we signed with each bargaining unit, clearly stated that the SERPs going forward were contingent upon them being cost neutral. So the PARS document is not the budget document. It's an assumption with 100% replacement, which we are not doing, and we have identified the solutions to make sure that each one of these are cost neutral as we bring them forward for approval tonight. You are not approving a $25 million expenditure. You're approving the cost neutral SERPs as applied, as written in our MOUs.
I just want to apologize to all of you for any confusion that it may have caused, because it was our intention right from the start to make it so that it worked. And if it didn't, we should not have offered it. And last week we were a little disturbed about it, but the superintendent has gone in and figured out why we got that report last week, which was not an accurate picture of what was going on. So I want to apologize for all of you who had some angst about what is it going through, is it not going through, et cetera, and the need to really look at what was going on. So yes, I believe you will be happy.
Okay, with that, please vote. Okay, with that, the regular meeting is adjourned, but we now return to open.
A couple of comments. First of all, I want to make sure that our administrative unit understands, and I want to just acknowledge them for what we've already said, thanking them for stepping up and negotiating and resolving that. I also want to correct the record. I think I suggested earlier that Preuss was fifth. That was fifth in the state, and they're 54th in the nation in terms of best high schools. Also, I think I suggested it was a 7-minute walk from the old school to the new school, and it's actually a 27-minute walk.
Oh, 27-minute walk.
But how long is it if they run?
Thank you, Dr. McCrory. Okay, we're back to non-agenda public testimony. You have a minute apiece. Please come forward as I call your name. Ricky Williams, Amanda Lee, Aaron Belfer, Christy Samorik, Dean Broyles, Pam Pond, Antonio Ruiz.
So hi, my name is Amanda Lay. I'm here on behalf of the American Civil Liberties Union of San Diego and Imperial Counties, here to say that we support comprehensive sex health education at San Diego Unified School District. Every parent wants the best education for their children. We all want to raise smart, kind, and healthy children who will grow up empowered to take on the challenges of the world. We have a responsibility to equip our young people with all of the information that they need to make healthy decisions that will impact their futures. And that includes quality comprehensive sex education. We know that the district cares about the health and well-being of all of our students, and as such, our students deserve the most up-to-date, science-based, and medically accurate information about how to achieve the best possible health outcomes for themselves. It is important to note that the California Healthy Youth Act still applies to comprehensive sex ed taught in 6th grade and must meet all the baseline requirements of the law, including being medically accurate and objective, skills and knowledge-based, and inclusive of all students. We thank San Diego Unified for its commitment to ensuring San Diego students receive the support and information they need and which the law requires.
Thank you, Amanda.
Hi, my name is Pamela Pond. I teach 5th grade at Jeremiah Elementary, which is my home. Sorry. At Thursday's board meeting, Mr. Barrera stated that teachers would not be bumped from their school sites in order to keep sites stabilized with current teachers. I am in fact being bumped from my school, even though there are 3 retirement openings. This makes no sense. I am also being forced into a credential B-clad position, of which I have not held the bilingual teaching position for in 22 years. I have been working with my EOKA credential for the past 8 years. Sorry, you guys. Please help. I know this is a mistake and it's not being resolved. Please back your directive that teachers should not be bumped from their schools. Human Resources told me this morning that I have 2 choices: teach in a bilingual setting or not have a job. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Antonio Ruiz. I have 2 sons in Language Academy, one 6th grader and one 8th grader. And like everyone here, we are here to talk about our school being possibly split from the elementary school for the middle school to go to another campus. I'm really disappointed, to say the least, to what the district is doing or to this wonderful magnet school. The district has not been very open to a prompt and serious dialogue to discuss the school's future. The opportunity to begin constructive dialogue was missed this past May 4th, where Mr. Kevin Weiser was attending, when the district staff lied to us or misled us, and they did that to parents, teachers, and staff that were present. If moving the middle school from our campus to another is your directive, you may want to have at least input from the stakeholders at this school, don't you think? And one final note to Ms. Martel, your board exists because of our children. They are the reason why you're sitting there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Please make the correct choices with feedback from our teachers, the staff, and most importantly, the parents of these kids who attend this wonderful school. Don't miss another opportunity, please.
Thank you. Okay. Sarah Davis, Farrah Goldberg, Joanne Fields, Mark Pierce, Margarita Corrado Hidalgo, Daryl Smith. Go ahead and address this if I called your name.
Okay. My name is Farrah Goldberg, and I'm a parent of 3 kids who attend the Language Academy. A couple weeks ago, we were met with a proposal to move the middle school and separate the successful K-8 program and move our kids across town 11 miles over to Claremont. The San Diego Unified has put forth the slogan, "Quality Schools by 2020." The Language Academy is a successful program and represents many who are underserved in the community. By moving our school to Claremont, your vision of quality schools in 2020 is a farce. Moving a quality school from a current community into an entirely different community is ridiculous. 45% of our students are chosen from underserved communities, and the proposal to move them across town to Muir disproportionately affects them and their ability to receive a quality education. I urge you to rethink this, to get the input of parents, stakeholders, and teachers, and actually provide quality schools in every community, not just people who can afford it.
My name is Mark Pierce. I'm a student of Kevin Beiser. I went to Granger Junior High School back when he worked there. I'm speaking to oppose this so-called anti-bullying creation for Muslim students. According to the San Diego district's numbers, it has a total student population of 130,000. And out of those last year, there have been 7 reported instances of religious-based bullying, and it doesn't specify which religion it was that's singled out. There's no inexplicable reason to reach out to a specific religious community for such a thing, and it's unconstitutional. It violates the Establishment Clause guaranteeing not reaching out to any specific religions. This is an attempt to Islamize public schools, and the board members of this are falling for it based on identity politics and for other reasons. I hope you take my word seriously. Thank you, as a former student.
Okay, Susan Schroeder, Jim Cummins, Dr. Newman, Mr. Finocchiaro, Judy Fernandez, Ms. White.
In the interest of time, I will proceed. I am Dr. Newman. I'm a research clinical psychologist, and in that capacity, that's the reason I'm here. I started my elementary school education in Linda Vista. My son, Robert Carver Newman III, was the bicentennial baby of the city of San Diego, born July 16, 1969. Thank you for your recognition. Now, I received my bachelor's degree and my master's degree from San Diego State and my PhD from the California School of Professional Psychology in San Diego. I have published empirical research on primary grade children in peer-reviewed journals, and for the record, I am opposed to the preferential teaching of Islam under the guise of bullying. We need a clear definition of bullying. Abandon the notion. My assistant at a later time will finish this report.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Mr. Finocchiaro, abandon the notion. I personally could tell you that when I was a bully, it was because I had problems at home. So the problem doesn't exist because of a specific group of people. It comes from people who are troubled and don't have a manner of managing their anger. So if they direct it towards a certain type of people, that's not enough to institute and bring about a teaching of a religion that is not about peace. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Susan Schroeder, and I urgently request San Diego Unified School District Board of Trustees rescind the discriminatory anti-bullying policy crafted specifically for Muslim students. I'm also going to speak specifically to the district's continued declining enrollment. There are many parents that are out there that are, as of this time, are just becoming aware of what's going on here in this policy that you're trying to implement, and they will be pulling their students from San Diego Unified. This policy disproportionately serves Muslim students. Both the FBI and DOJ studies continue to report year after year that Jews are by far the biggest targets of religious hate crimes in the United States. In 2015, more than 60% of anti-religious hate crimes were against Jews. The Times of San Diego published a report on April 24th, 2017, indicating there is a 33% increase in anti-Semitic incidents reported in in San Diego County in 2016 compared to the year prior. The Anti-Defamation League noted a spike in incidents since November and a doubling in the amount of bullying and vandalism at non-denominational K-12 grade schools. It is unfair and hateful to favor one set of students over another.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jim Cummins, and I'm here to address the issue of bullying against Muslim students. I think to show preferential attention to any group does not, basically, equal protection under the law is what we're guaranteed. And that's not equal protection. That's elevating one group above others. I didn't listen to all the presentations of the people that thought we should proceed with this as far as addressing Muslim students, but I think bullying should end no matter who's bullied. And I don't care what their religion, their color, their creed, or their national origin. So to single out Muslim students is obviously not a proper thing to do. Are you not going to protect a kid that's not a Muslim? Are you going to give preferential safe places to Muslim students? What about other people? So let's stop bullying, but let's not pick on those groups that are not bullied enough. Thank you.
Okay, Grant Freeman, Brent Williams, Summer Boger, Beth McNeil, Alice Kaiser, and Sherry Williams.
Hello, my name is Brent Williams. I'm a resident and parent here in San Diego, and I'm here to say that I strongly request that you rescind the anti-bullying policy that favors and promotes Islam in public schools. I was shocked to learn that this agenda, which blatantly promotes Islam, was passed under the guise of an anti-bullying policy. Don't get me wrong, I'm completely against this discrimination bullying of all kids, including Muslims. But anti-bullying, anti-discrimination, and anti-bigotry should apply equally to and be enforced for all students. If bullying is really what you're concerned about here, then that's what you should be focused on, without giving preferential treatment to Muslims or promoting Islamic religion and culture in public schools, which is a blatant violation of the separation of church and state. This group should not be given preferential treatment, nor should the teaching of its ideology be encouraged or forced upon the impressionable minds of our children. What makes this curriculum even more ridiculous is that Islamic ideology and Sharia law discriminate against Jews, Christians, homosexuals, women, and anyone who oppose their ideology. Islamic ideology and Sharia law are incompatible with the U.S. Constitution and free speech, and promoting them actually undermines our nation. I'm almost done. I just want to say, not only is promoting Islam under the guise of an anti-bullying policy unconstitutional, but it's hypocritical, it's a waste of resources, and I strongly urge you to rescind this discriminatory policy. I'm sorry for going over, but I just feel strongly, okay, my kids are growing up here, and it's important. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I wanted to speak quickly to the sex ed implications. Schools are meant to teach facts.
Just give us your name, please. I'm sorry.
Summer Boger.
Okay, thank you.
Schools are meant to teach facts. A sperm and an egg are the beginning of life of a new baby. Anything else regarding gender is going to be gender dysphoria if it's not an XX chromosome equals a female and an XY chromosome equals a male. Biology 101, it takes about 6,500 genetic changes to go from a male to a female. It is not science to subject young, influential minds to these ideas and more. It's experimentation. Your genetic makeup will not magically change because you think you're a fruit. It's not age appropriate to make changes to the sexual identity curriculum. I am here protecting children from encouraged sexual behaviors. Teaching sex ed is what you are
to do, not sexuality ed. Sexual experimentation can lead to many problems: broken hearts, broken relationships, broken families, angered souls, pornography, sexual addiction, STDs, teen pregnancy, and baggage that you take into those relationships and marriage. The curriculum is
Okay, thank you very much.
the curriculum is detailed, graphic, and oral, anal and vaginal sex, and encourages behaviors including masturbation to young children.
Okay, could you conclude your thought, please?
So I support schools that have rules like no violence, no cursing, no bullying, and it's not the school's job to be apologetic to any culture, whether it's LGBT or Muslims.
Okay, thank you very much.
I oppose the sexual education and the Muslim policies and would love to tell you more about what I support, but you're not going to give me time.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Grant Freeman, and I'm a San Diego native, San Diego schooled, and a conservative Christian business owner. And I'm concerned that this anti-Islam bullying policy, that frankly it addresses a policy that wasn't properly vetted, and in fact it relies on special interest opinions, not good evidence. We are a nation of immigrants. All that swear allegiance to our Constitution and peacefully follow the law are welcome. God loves all people. He doesn't see us as subgroups. And we need to be careful that we don't see each other as subgroups to be marginalized and overprotected. Kids get along. All of us with gray hair remember our school experience. Kids get along. We've been busy taking God out of the schools the last 60 years, and I would encourage you to look carefully at the policy that may allow Sharia to creep in. Remember, Sharia is not just religion, it's also government. I thank you and respectfully ask you to reevaluate this policy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Alice Kaiser, and I came here to ask you to please rescind this odious policy that you have adopted. You must have voted on this policy under the assumption that our San Diego Unified students are rascals, that they are potential bullies. That is wrong, because one student may get out of line perhaps one time. You are condemning the whole district and population of students. That is wrong. The students have a right to speak out if they see you wrong. Bullying is wrong by the students, it's wrong by the adults, it's also wrong by this board. You have become the super bullies of San Diego County. By your policy, you're intimidating the students from speaking. I urge you to rescind this terrible law and policy. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Sherry Williams, and I am a born and raised San Diego resident with grandchildren in the public school. I urgently request you to rescind the discriminatory anti-bullying policy that was crafted in favor of Muslim students. It is inappropriate and unconstitutional to promote Islam in public schools. Particularly disturbing is the development of this policy from a survey from the ISPU, which is affiliated with a terrorist group, as well as the district establishing formal partnerships with CARE, which has been named a terrorist group by the United Arab Emirates. The harassment of Muslims is a small portion of the total incidence of bullying. It is both unfair and wasteful to use tax dollars to promote Muslim culture and beliefs instead of focusing on the protection of all children. I urge you to rescind the anti-bullying policy that favors Muslim children and promotes the Islamic faith and culture.
Thank you. Okay, and I appreciate people sticking around until the end of the meeting, and we are adjourned. Thank you.